This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hey, before we get started, this is Jonathan Braylock, Black Men Can't Jump podcast. We will be at South by Southwest Festival in Austin, Texas. We are performing with HeadGum, part of HeadGum Live, Friday, 3 p.m., March 11th at the North Door Theater. Tickets are $20 and they're on sale right now, so you got to buy your tickets now, okay? Go to blackmenpodcast.squarespace.com, click events. The link there for the tickets is there. And we're going to be there with John Gabris' podcast, The High and Mighty, and She Didn't Text Back podcast. It's going to be great. It's going to be funny. We're reviewing the movie Ben in Black, so please come on out. We want to see you there, Austin. Show your love, all right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll save that for the podcast. I'll save it for the podcast, y'all.
I mean, 'cause I haven't seen. I mean, I think I've seen a good portion of them.
Oh, Hateful Eight was amazing.
You liked it? I didn't like Hateful Eight.
Samuel L. Jackson should have been nominated.
Yes.
Jennifer, she didn't do anything.
I didn't see it. I haven't seen it.
I mean, she got punched in the face a lot.
And she said the N-word a lot.
Yeah, but he had him and Walter Goggins were like.
Yeah.
They were like
he
amazing.
was really.
No, man, but he couldn't have won. He was an upstanding black man. He couldn't have got a nomination for
Well,
that
he
role.
wasn't an upstanding.
I mean, he wasn't a terrible black dude in
But
that movie.
he got vengeance.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I mean, look, man.
He wasn't a good guy.
He wasn't a bad.
Oh, wait, save it for the podcast.
Let's save it.
Oh, we're recording?
Wait,
that
but
should be the name of a podcast.
Have we been recording this whole time?
Save it
not
for
the whole
podcast.
time.
That'd be great, right?
Save it.
Save it for the podcast. What I want to talk about is how few Oscar films people actually see. And because all of us see movies,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You love movies, you love movies, you love movies. But like, that is a thing that we should talk about, is just the fact that most of the movies that are nominated for Oscars, people don't watch.
Because most of them are boring movies
They're
sometimes.
very boring movies.
Most of the time
Well,
they're
like,
boring.
yeah, but like people watch them, but you know, it's not.
Movie people watch them.
Nobody watches.
Critics watch them.
Yeah.
Critics
Like,
watch
the
them 'cause they
powers
have
that
to.
be watch them. But like in
And then
terms of like my mom is not going to be like, oh, let me go see Room. Like hard
Yeah.
pass. Like she
Yeah.
doesn't want to go be depressed for 2 hours.
People, right?
And the thing is though, it's like the studios know the film that it's going to be the Oscar film, so like it gets Oscar hype before the movie even comes out, before anybody sees it. Like Joy, for instance, has terrible reviews not terrible, but like
No, they're
pretty
not good. They're not
mediocre reviews, right? But that movie was hyped up so much that like a lot of people saw it, and Jennifer Lawrence gets nominated for it. You know what I mean?
She was going to get nominated regardless, because everyone is drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm like, look, she is fine.
Yeah, no, which is.
She's
but like
fine.
that
wanna see
Kool-Aid
her.
though.
That Kool-Aid must
But
be
it's like
good
it's
Kool-Aid.
just like maddening. She's what? She's not even 30.
She's 25.
She's
just turned
25.
25 years
She
old.
has
Four
3
nominations.
Oscar nominations
For Best
and
Actress.
and I'm just like,
and one for best
That's
supporting.
important. Yeah.
so she has 4.
So she has
Four
Four
nominations.
nominations
One
in
win.
her life and 1 win already. And I'm just like, but people like Angela Bassett, who are like fucking amazing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
have nothing.
Nothing.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
I don't think Ian McKellen. Oh no, he's been nominated twice, but he's never won.
He's never won one. He's never won
An
one.
openly gay actor has never won.
And he
I
recently
know.
spoke out. I mean, I guess we get to that later,
Yeah.
but he spoke out about how hard it is for women, people of color, and openly gay individuals in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I mean, what's the last best picture that won an Oscar that you saw just because you saw? You know what I mean? Not because like, oh, I have to watch this movie because it's.
I mean,
I hope
I
Mad
would
Max wins so I can say like this is I saw Mad Max before, you know.
Yeah, you didn't know that it was gonna.
I
be
didn't
like,
know it was gonna be like
I,
that movie.
I saw The Martian, but I think I thought it might have.
But I
been
meant like,
because
I'm sorry, like a
that has
movie that
actually won.
won that you were like,
and like that wasn't Birdman, because I feel like the reason I saw Birdman was because I got the screener. But that's
saw
a
Birdman
movie.
on purpose.
But that movie is like marketed for me. Like I'm gonna go see this movie that
Did you go
stars.
see it in theaters?
Yeah.
I did.
Okay, because it was incredible.
Yeah.
I saw this.
It was.
I saw it in theaters.
Oh no, you have to see it in.
But I saw Birdman though. Thinking about it, like I feel like James, it was marketed towards like people who like film because it was the movie that was done in one, like theoretically speaking, in one take.
But that's what I'm
Right.
saying. It's still like an Oscar. I think the last movie has to be like Return of the King, Lord of the Rings. Like that's the last
that
movie
like we went to see and we weren't
No,
thinking about the
no,
Oscars.
that
we
a
were just
bunch
going
of
to see
people
that
saw
movie.
and they
Yeah.
didn't, and they weren't like they didn't go see it because it was nominated for Best Picture. They just saw it.
Right.
Right, Avatar might have been that if it won, but it didn't.
Oh, The Artist. I love that movie.
yeah, The
that was
Artist was great.
I think a lot of people went to see that because it was like happy as opposed to
Yeah.
like, here's the Holocaust.
Right.
And it was
So
like a
people-
novelty too.
Yeah, it was
Well,
not.
yeah,
It was
it's
like
like a silent
different. It was
film.
like unique. It's something that hadn't been done in like decades, and so people. I'm
I've
looking up
never,
on Google.
I've never seen the artist.
Oh, it's
so
so good. Where's that guy?
Yeah, no, I
at?
haven't
Where's the
seen the
guy that
artist
won the
either.
I
artist?
have zero.
He's back overseas.
I have zero.
Oh, so he's
Doing,
like-
I think he's like doing like a TV show or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
because he
Alright.
won, and I'm thinking,
he
man,
was
this guy
amazing,
should have
and
been.
he's super hot.
Where's the
Guys.
dog?
Oh, the
But
Departed.
where's the dog from?
The Departed.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Slumdog Millionaire.
Everybody
Millionaire.
wanted to see that.
Slumdog Millionaire was great.
That's true. Slumdog and The Departed, I both saw, I think, before I knew it was going to be nominated for
Yeah.
it.
I didn't see The Departed until after, but I assumed that was going to be nominated.
I
no?
didn't because it was like a crime thriller.
I mean,
like, those
it's
are like
Scorsese still, so.
true. He
But it
gets
was
away with
great.
a lot of movies that I'm shocked. Like, because The Departed is not the Oscar-y kind of movie that you think would get. I mean,
He should won for Goodfellas and Taxi Driver. And
absolutely
Raging Bull.
Goodfellas.
Everyone.
Oh, Raging Bull was great. Raging Bull was
I'm
great.
so,
Nice.
I'm
We like
so annoyed about
Scorsese.
it. Yeah.
All right,
Scorsese.
let's get into the show. This episode is brought to you by Tidal.
Hey, man, I know Tidal. That's Jay-Z.
Yeah.
You always say that.
I mean, it's like
Tidal isn't Jay-Z.
it's not Jay-Z.
No, I mean, like, you may be involved with it, but Tidal is the college's social wave for change, and Lil Wayne is the person that they're...
Yeah, for this particular ad, Lil Wayne is championing this.
Guys, Tidal's a global entertainment platform built for fans directly from artists around the world.
Like Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that Tidal aims to provide members with the best content exclusively, whether it's like a new album or like a music video live stream, you know?
Right.
Oh man, that's deep. You know what? I need to get Tidal. Because Tidal has great music. They have HD audio, which I didn't even know that was a thing. When you listen to like some of the
I
songs.
know that, yeah. What?
HD audio, which
That's
is
crazy.
crazy great.
So here's the thing, though. You want to talk about this, James?
Yeah, Tidal and artist owner Lil Wayne, they're partnering to promote community service among college students by rewarding them for making an impact in their communities.
Oh,
Give
that's
it
so
back
cool.
to the
yo.
community. That's what we're talking about. That's what this podcast is about.
Yeah,
That's
so
legitimately like forget plugs aside. Like that's a very cool thing right there.
It is.
That's right.
And from now through to the end of the month, okay, any undergrad college student at a 4-year university can participate in Tidal's college's social wave for change to win a Lil Wayne concert near his or her school.
Wait,
yeah, Lil Wayne.
Wait, what are you doing?
Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Stop.
Lil Wayne.
That's my Lil Wayne impression.
It's like you gotta take a shit.
Wait a minute. So what do I got to do then? How do I participate? How do I win a Lil Wayne concert? I want to know
you
that.
got to share your community service photos or videos to Instagram or Tidal's Facebook page.
So guys, so that means go out into the communities, help out. Like that's basically what we're asking you to do. Just go out there, help out, give back.
Yeah, but like take a photo of you doing it. Otherwise,
Take
it's
a
not
photo.
real.
And then you use the hashtag.
very true.
It's not real, and it's even more not real if you don't use this hashtag. Hashtag Tidal X Change for a chance to have Lil Wayne perform at your school. Yeah.
Okay, stop. Lil Wayne, you're annoying sometimes.
Stop it.
Listen, to enter, students can post a photo or video. Well, you kind of said this already. But listen, a panel of judges will choose the finalists, and then the public will get to vote on the winner, and finalists will get a Tidal silent disco event at their school. And the winner will receive that Lil Wayne concert that we be talking about.
Yeah.
Go to Tidal.com or check out Tidal's social channels for more information. At Tidal on Instagram and at Tidal Hi-Fi on Twitter. Tidal.
Yeah.
Hey, help out the community.
Jonathan Braylock, James III, Jerah Milligan.
What more can I say? You know what it is.
Black men can jump.
In Hollywood.
Black actors, man. Black actors. All right.
Welcome to Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood. We're here live. No, we're not
I
live.
feel like there should be like,
I know.
there
There's
should
a
be
clap
like
and cheer.
applause, and then like
again, do it
fancy
again.
music.
Yeah, one more time. We got you.
Welcome to a live recording of Black Men Can't Jump in Hollywood.
Whistle.
Talking about the 88th? 9th? Wait, which one is it? 88th Academy Award.
Who is this host?
No, where?
Boo.
All right, I'm Jonathan Braylock.
I'm James III.
I'm Jerah Milligan.
Guys, you know what it is. It's our Oscar episode, and we have a special guest.
Can I do drum rolls? Can I do like a...
Why don't you do Oscar-themed music?
No, man.
James, you can do it.
That's why I didn't want to do it. That's exactly why I didn't want to do it.
That was my Oscar music.
Have you ever watched the Oscar?
Yeah, that's how it goes, right?
violence,
It's like,
man.
Yeah, it's like, no, it's like,
Yo,
all right, get out of here. Guys,
Introduce me right.
please welcome back the one and only Phoebe Robinson.
Hi.
She's back.
She's black.
She's black.
Yeah.
she's back. She's
And
black.
she got some things to say about the Oscar.
Oh my god.
yo, Phoebes, listen. I've been seeing your Facebook like posts, and you've been going in,
She's been going in.
and I love it.
I know. Some people don't, but they. I
Man.
don't know if you saw the Grammy picture fiasco.
I saw
okay,
that.
okay.
That was insane.
That was crazy.
This, even though this is off topic, but like, okay, so Kendrick Lamar performed.
Oh, yeah,
at
let's
the
talk about
Grammys.
this a little bit, yeah.
Kendrick Lamar performed at the Grammys, and then Phoebe posted, which was a shot that I thought was very weird that the Grammys did. They had him on stage, and they finally cut to the audience, and they cut to a picture or a shot of like just white people in like fear or just shock. It was like basically like
it was
they weren't-
momentary.
It was also just
Yeah,
like
it was
a
like-
real quick kind of
It was
thing,
a quick
too.
shot, and it was just like them just not knowing what to do. And then the next shot after that was a black dude with his fist in the air, and then back to Kendrick on stage. And I was like, "Oh man, y'all saying a lot right now." He
I don't
posted it.
think they were trying to say anything. They were just doing an obligatory,
But the thing
audience
is-
reaction shot.
Is that I know it's like I was like, this medley is going along for a long time.
Yeah.
They weren't cutting away to the audience. It was like, I know because they're all confused right now.
Right.
And so then they did, and all the white people were confused.
For
And
those
so-
people who don't know, it starts out with him and a bunch of black men in chains in like a prison kind of garb.
Yeah.
So it's like very
It's
heavy.
real. It's
very
real.
real.
Yeah.
And so I just took a screenshot of it, and I just wrote caption, LOL, scared white people at the Grammys during Kendrick Lamar's bold performance. That was it. It was a fart of a post. I was in the middle of working on my book. And then I was like, oh, let me just, I just want to see if I get likes. Just because I'm very needy. I just
Yeah,
how
yeah.
many,
You need to check
many
those
likes?
likes.
How many
You need to check those likes.
And I was getting a decent amount of likes. And then the first comment was in all caps, fuck you. And I paused for a second because I was like,
Just that's it?
and that was
Yeah.
it. And I was like, wait, I don't think I know this guy. So I looked at his profile. I was like, yeah, his face doesn't look familiar. And I was like, this doesn't seem like an LOL.
Right.
So I just wrote back to him, and then it just turned into a giant clusterfuck of him. Like,
Yeah.
he called me a skank. He called me a racist bitch.
Right.
Wasn't it one of
He said I have bugs in my hair. He says I have
Bugs in your
That's a
hair?
bird.
Yeah.
What is he in third grade?
I don't know. I'm a broke ass Whoopi Goldberg.
What?
He took this headshot of me.
Right.
Where I looked way better than I do now because I like had makeup on, my hair was like perfect or whatever. And he goes like, "Look how bad your skin looks here." And I'm like, "Actually, this picture looks really good, but thanks." I was like, "It's gotten a lot of likes before, but okay." And then like his friends like chimed in and like they were calling me
there
a
was, like, all
cunt. It
kinds
was
of
like
people. What
the heck?
crazy. It went crazy.
the black?
You're all
they kept
people you
referring
weren't
to the
actually
blacks
friends
too.
with. They
This
must have been friends
guy-
of friends who saw it.
Apparently, he's a comic from Chicago,
Yeah,
and like
okay.
Yeah.
whenever people we all like friend request comics, and whenever that happens to me, I'm just like, yeah, you're a comic, we're all in this together. And I was like, so I went through his page, and I was like, oh, he likes Trump, okay. And then I found
He
out,
like unironically likes
yeah,
Trump.
like legit is like pro Trump, and then he like did a song called Nigger Bop, like he's just like mad.
No, but wait, Nigger Bop. No,
Yeah, you know
that
Nigger Bop.
song.
Yeah, it's a great song. Yeah.
Great song.
It's so good.
What?
It unfortunately was not nominated for a Grammy, and so he was
But see,
crazy.
hence
He's
his-
mad. He's
his
mad.
He's just
anger.
mad.
Yeah.
He's mad. He's mad. He didn't get that nomination for Nigga
didn't
Bop.
get
But now this is very relevant, actually, because what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about, Oscars So White, but I wanted to talk more about
white male tears.
your white male tears and a couple of white women tears in there too.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the reaction to Oscars So White, which was immediate. And there were so many things we wanted to say, but we were like, you know what? Why don't we wait until we have an episode right before the Oscars, and just get all of it out at once, because there's so much to contend with. There's so many different, just like people, I think they get upset. They get like really riled up. And we're not here to like crap on white people. I just want to put that up on top.
Let's make that clear.
Let's make that clear. One, because producer Nick is in the room and he was white.
Yeah, producer
Hi,
Nick.
Nick.
Producer Nick is here. Producer
And
Nick
Nick
is here.
played my pretend boyfriend in an Upworthy video.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember
he's
that.
great.
I remember that
He's
video.
great.
Oh, man. See,
He's
now
woke.
people are going to look for that because they know that producer Nick looks very attractive.
Now
we
we're gonna
always talk
know-
about how cute
now everybody's
producer
going to know
Nick
what
is.
producer
I
Nick looks
know.
like.
They want to
He's
find out.
taking ladies, but he's a hottie.
Yeah.
Sorry, please. I don't. Okay. I was like, I don't want your wife to cut me. But I'm just being, Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, so I just want to make that clear. A lot of the comments we were going to talk about that people made, they rescinded or they like apologized for, tried to clarify and stuff
not
like
good
that.
enough.
Gerard's already shaking his head.
Because this is my thing. This is my thing. If you say some reckless stuff, right? These people weren't drunk. They weren't under duress. This was a pause. This was
They
like,
don't
love
even
that.
sound.
I
They don't
love
even
that.
sound like they would
No,
be
but
drunk,
this
but they
like-
weren't drunk, so everybody knows.
No. The funniest part is that I love how you think someone's under duress. I'm like, this is the time when I'm talking about Oscars So White. I'm getting mugged right now, but fuck.
Because it's like people keep saying like, but they apologize. It's like, but you meant it. This wasn't a thing of like, this wasn't a thing you were being pressured. Like people were like, this is a casual conversation. You meant it.
But I think apology is worth something, because like if we're
No.
saying that if it's not, then that's why people love Donald Trump, because he never apologizes for anything.
No, apologies only worth something if you mean it.
If you mean it.
And those people who were, I didn't see what people were saying to you guys.
We got a list.
We got a list.
But if it
We'll
was
break it
like
out.
super foul and trifling, like they meant that and they believe they're just saying sorry to like smooth things
Yeah, they
over.
say
But
the
that
face.
doesn't mean that they're like reflected and like, oh yeah, maybe I need to completely rethink how race and
Yeah.
the society is structured.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're
too nice.
No, it's not just I'm nice.
And I'm crazy,
I
so.
want to move the conversation forward so that people can understand when they are like legitimately don't understand. Because I think when Oscars So White happened last year, right? I said some of the things that these people were saying. Mostly, not actually. No, I didn't. I said some of the things that like a couple people have said this year, which is, well, it's not the Academy's fault. It's the industry in the movies. There are not enough roles. So like, what
But
can the
there
Academy
are
do?
roles and they're being
That's
ignored.
the thing.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what we have to talk about. But I said that last year because it was the first time. Now it happened 2 years in a row, and people are still saying that. I'm like, all right, guys, you're right. That's why we have a podcast. There aren't enough roles, but that being said, there are roles and whatever. Okay, so let's just get into it, right?
Because this is my thing. I just want to make sure, because I kind of do agree with what you're saying. It's like, as we get into this, it's like, I feel like you go through the Oscar So White like stages of like how you take it. First it's like anger, then it's like sadness, then it's like, man, we still have to like one
stages of grief.
of my friends who is a white guy who has been in a movie that's been nominated for an Oscar. He says like,
Is
he's
it
very
Michael
casual.
Fassbender? Because I will ride that dude.
If I knew Michael Fassbender, I would make sure he was here just hanging out. Because you know he loves black women, right?
I know. That's why I'm like, yes, this will be perfect.
He be digging down some. Hey, Michael
Wait,
Fassbender,
is
you
he
chill
single?
out, bruh.
Is he single?
No, he's dating a woman
He's
from.
dating that
Just yell at him to
that
chill out.
bitch from Ex Machina. No, she's
yeah.
cool. She's cool, but it's like,
What's her nationality?
Alicia Vikander?
yeah, she's
She's
beige.
nominated.
She's nominated for an Oscar.
For
Yeah.
a Danish girl.
I don't think she's black.
No, she's very white. Isn't
Yeah,
she?
white? No,
she's just
she
she
ain't
got a
white.
tan.
I think she's.
She a white girl with a tan? Nah, man. She
I
gotta
think
be
she's a
some-
white girl with a
No,
tan.
she's first
She
of all,
gotta
she's
be-
definitely white. 'cause
She gotta be
she's
white and
nominated.
Puerto Rican or something.
No,
She has
she's
to
like-
be white because she's
I think
not.
she's.
No,
I
she
feel like
has
she's
to be
Russian or
white.
something.
Is she
I mean,
Russian?
she has to be white. She was not.
I think she's Russian. I think she's legit just like.
No, it's true that she has to be white because she's not.
That's true. She's gotta be white.
What do you mean?
I mean, I thought
She's
she looked like-
Swedish. She's Swedish. Why do we think she's anything?
I mean, because when you see,
No,
cause when
in
you see her in
certain
the movies and
pictures, she
stuff,
looks a
she looks
little
very
tan.
like tan, like she's tan in Ex
she has a
Machina.
tan.
She's-
And knowing Michael's preference.
This is who they're talking about, James.
No.
See, but you haven't seen.
Oh, y'all
her
talking about this
movies,
white
though.
girl?
See, yeah, if you see the movie she's been in, she
You're talking about
always
this
looks.
obviously white
If you
woman.
saw her, you're like,
Like,
oh,
look
that's
at
a
that.
Rashida Jones
That's how
right
she looks
there.
in movies. Like she looks very.
well, that's a
got
different
bronzer.
picture.
She's
Yeah.
just got bronzer.
But every movie
That's
she's
not-
ethnically ambiguous though.
Exactly. The point
Thank
is
you.
he needs to break up with her and come back to the black side because that's not what he wants to be.
She's Swedish. Anyway, okay.
No, but what I was saying was his whole thing was he was like, listen, we understand there's a problem, but and again he was like, it's not the Academy's fault. It's everyone. It's basically Sony, Fox Searchlight, those guys' fault. He's like, what he actually put the blame on was the writers. And I was like, writers don't write.
Who put the blame
One of
on
my
it?
friends, he was like, the writers are, because the writers aren't writing movies with like people of color in it.
You know what? Let's just. I'm gonna use that
That's
to go
true.
to our first thing.
That's so
you're
true.
saying, but put the blame on the writers, right?
Put the blame on
so
the
let's go
writers.
to the writers first.
All right.
Coen brothers. You guys know the Coen brothers?
I think I do. I think I've heard of them.
I sure do know the Coen brothers.
You know the Coen brothers?
Yes, I was going to say something else, but I'll wait.
Okay. So I like Coen brothers films. Do you like Coen brothers films?
Yeah, they're all white people, and then Javier
They're all
Bardem.
white people, right?
Great.
And
The thing is,
Javier Bardem,
I do love them.
who's Spanish. So
Hold on.
we gotta remind people like Spanish is white.
Yeah.
But it's not because of Latinos. But I'm talking about Spain.
Spain
Yeah, but is
he's
the reason
Javier
that all these
Bardem,
other
though.
these reason that most of South America and Latin America speak Spanish is because Spain were a colonialist nation. They
Wasn't
Javier
colonized
Bardem
other-
is not white.
He's not anymore because
anymore? He changed.
no, it's
he
true.
converted?
No, I'm saying Spanish people aren't looked at it as white anymore because of the link they have to Latino culture, and because we've put down the Latino culture so much that if you're speaking Spanish, we don't care if you're from Mexico, Guatemala,
You talking about that
Argentina,
history.
Chile.
Okay,
or Spain.
okay,
the
Meryl
origins.
Streep, we're all really African.
But what I'm saying is that Spain's legacy is of colonialism. They did exactly the same thing that.
No, wait, so sure.
It
So
is
like,
really-
so,
For sure.
so
Yeah,
the
what you
Coen
saying?
brothers, what
Okay.
they say.
So here's what the
I know. Like,
You're like,
Here's what
I
the
ain't
Coen
got
brothers
time
said.
for this
Here's
no
what the
more.
Coen brothers said. Because they were asked about, they were asked about Hail Caesar. Because the diversity issue came up, Hail Caesar's coming out, everybody in the poster is
There's
white.
one
Of course,
Latina
there's
girl
like-
in it. We know her.
We know Veronica.
We got one in the movie.
She's
What
great.
is she playing in
There's
it, though?
probably
Plays a
more.
very
I mean, have you
small
seen the
role.
movie?
She plays
Might
a
be
very,
more.
very. No, apparently there are some Asian women who are waitresses. Yes,
Great. Okay, good. They're waitresses. Good. We got. Okay,
Yes.
good. We have a couple.
All of the main roles, there are like 8 people on the poster. They're all white. So people are like, so they asked them. They're like, hey, you have a lot of white people in your film. Do you think diversity is? So this is what they said. You don't sit down and write a story and say, I'm going to write a story that involves 4 black people, 3 Jews, and a dog, right?
Kill yourself.
That's not. I'm not even.
I feel like this side of the room is going to be so hot today.
Kill
I'm done.
yourself.
Don't you? Until you would be like, oh, black people is dogs.
You gonna make a joke?
you.
You're basically
First
starting off a
thing-
joke.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not how stories get written. If you don't understand that, you don't understand anything about how stories get written, and you don't realize that the question you're asking is idiotic. And then when they said something about the Oscars, they said, the Oscars are not that important. These people are nominated for Oscars consistently and have won them, by the way. By making such a big deal, you're assuming that these things really matter.
See, this is
I don't think they even matter much from an economic point of view. So
Motherfucker, that's why you have a career, because your movies don't make 2 cents at the fucking box office.
See, but this is
Shut up.
See, but this is crazy
Shut
to me.
up.
See,
I
this is
can't even
crazy.
finish this because it's so.
How can
it's
you
so
say? How
messed
can you
up.
say though? Make a big. See, to me,
Wait,
it's-
there's one more thing. So yes, it's true, and it's also true that it's escalating the whole subject to a level it doesn't actually deserve.
Now, this
who
is
go
both
first?
of them.
Who goes
Both
first?
of them. Well,
Oh my God.
y'all,
I'm not going yet. I'm not going yet.
no,
I'm calm.
no,
I feel like
we
y'all
should
should go
pass
because
the
you
right.
are
calm.
literally
I'm
exploding.
Gerard, go.
You go
No,
ahead.
I'm gonna be calm about it. This is my thing about stuff like this. It's like a big deal. This
Right.
that's belittling the situation.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's like seeing a kid, right, get beat up by his parents, be like, oh man, that kid shouldn't complain. That's not that big of a deal. It happens. No, this is a thing that needs to be addressed. People keep denying that there's a problem. You know what I'm saying? When you deny there's a problem, nothing will get fixed. Of course, they're probably tired of getting this question. Yeah, cool. But we're tired of living through this shit. So it's like the moment that people like them say, hey, there is an issue, we should try something different. Or maybe they don't have to write roles with blacks or like minorities in particular in mind, but when they go to casting, hey, let's just make it open and just find the best person for the role. That's it.
Right. Phoebe, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I mean, I calmed down a lot.
Everybody's trying to
Wait, I
But
can read this
also-
again.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't.
Don't
Going to
do
write a
it.
story that involves 4 black people, 3 Jews, and a dog, right?
Kill yourself.
That, yeah, first of all, Please do not be like, oh, diversity means we also have to like write about turtles. Shut up. Like, the world is populated with many different races and ethnicities, and they should be reflected. That's one. Two, it is not that difficult to cast people who aren't white.
Yes.
Shonda Rhimes does it all the time. All her characters, she said when she wrote Grey's Anatomy, she didn't write a last name on any of the characters because she wanted to be completely open to racially blind casting. And the show ended up having like Asian people on it, black people on it, gay people on it. It's not that difficult. And then the thing that I have is the arrogance that these white dudes have. Sorry, Nick. Sorry, Michael. I love you, boo. The arrogance that they have to be so ignorant and then be offended that someone is pointing out their ignorance
and
then
saying that the question is idiotic,
that you're dumb it hurts my brain. And also to act like the Oscars, look, award shows intrinsically are not that important. Sure, it's not like saving someone's life.
Right.
We all agree with that. No one's denying that. However, Oscar-nominated films make more money at the box office. Yes. People who get nominated from films have an easier time getting more roles. You know, it's the reason why someone like Hilary Swank, even though she does kind of like some good movies, some bad movies, the fact that she's won 2 Oscars, her name is always in the conversation for various roles. Whereas someone like who was amazing? The girl, I can't remember her name, but she's the lead in Pariah.
Oh my goodness.
She was incredible. Yeah. But because she didn't get like any notice.
We don't know her name.
Exactly. And she's amazing. I forget her name, but it's also like her name is not in the conversation for other roles.
Why we don't know her name.
Because she wasn't nominated for anything. There's no attention to her. So then it's not going to keep building that momentum. So to act like it doesn't matter and doesn't play a role, especially when the Coen brothers in particular, like they tend to write smaller movies.
And have benefited so much from the fact that they've been nominated and have won Oscars because of their
That's just a sign of privilege.
Yeah,
because
their movies aren't going to be like Avatar. Their movies are going to be modest box office successes, and they're allowed to keep doing that because they get critical acclaim and win Oscars
and get bigger budgets. Like True Grit had a pretty big budget and wouldn't have if they didn't win for No Country for Old Men.
Yeah. And Hail Caesar had a really nice budget too. I mean, it was basically old Hollywood they reinvented.
Also, just so people know that we aren't just like talking out of our butts, we did look up.
Oh, these are all quotes.
So we looked up like the Oscar effect, like an economic breakdown of the Academy Awards, and it's just a fact that movies get an Oscar bump when they're nominated, and if they win, even bigger. It's something like let's see. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to find the exact numbers. They make in other words, they make 35.6% of their total box office after they're nominated, and like 21.7% after they win, and like those percentages are much higher for than the normal like outlook of a movie. Like usually a film now makes most of its money in like the first 3 days, you know, and then like the next couple of weekends, and then it peters out and it goes away very quickly. But there's so much more staying power. Like a movie that it premieres in November, but then it gets an Oscar nomination and it wins, it'll stay out until March, April. Whereas it probably before, if it didn't get any Oscar buzz, whatever, like Concussion, I'm sure, it'll be out like now. It'll be out before February's done. You know what I mean? And they say that actors who get nominated get a 20% boost in pay for their next film.
This episode's making me mad.
Yeah, and it's also like
20% boost in pay.
And the thing that's frustrating is everyone's like, "Oh, Jennifer Lawrence wrote that really awesome article about getting paid more," and I'm like,
"Did you hear Viola Davis's response to that?"
What she said?
Oh man, let me find it. Basically, I'm gonna find the exact quote, but she was like, and Chris Rock said this later on too. Chris Rock was like, "There's so many actresses. Like, if you take, this is what she said. If you take the lead A-list black actresses, and combine all of them, the top 6, right, and how much they made in a year, it is still half of what a person like Jennifer Lawrence would get.
Right.
Which is not to like put women against each other, but it's just to say that like there is such a discrepancy when your pigment of your skin is so different that it takes 6 of you to compete with this one person who doesn't get what everyone else gets.
Right. Which,
and then it's also the fact that people are like rallying around Jennifer Lawrence and being like, yeah, we're going to fight this crusade for her. And then it's like, all right, well, what about the like black actresses, the Latina actresses, the Asian actresses who can't even like get their foot in the door? I don't see Bradley Cooper being like, you know what, you guys should really like cast, I don't know, Gina Rodriguez in a movie. I don't see him saying anything. And she's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, I guess their thinking is like we have to start from the top, and for whatever reason, the top is always
trickle down economics.
Trickle down.
Yeah,
well, it's tricky because like everyone's fighting for something. Everyone, like if you take this grand scheme of Hollywood right now, everyone is fighting a different battle.
Right.
Like black men, for instance, are fighting for equality and get more roles. Right. Like white women are fighting for the same thing black men are. It's like equality, more roles, equal pay. Women of color are fighting to just merely exist in the Hollywood landscape. Like just exist. And then when you think about like other men of color that aren't black, like Asian men, Latino men, like what Asian man has been nominated for an Oscar in the last 10 years?
The thing that I want to say about that is that like these fights are all important, right? So you know, what we need to understand as people that are fighting these fights is like don't pit one against the other, right? You know what's harder? It's harder to do this. It's harder to do that. Some of the quotes said stuff like this, right? It's like, no, don't.
Yeah,
we're all fighting for the same.
I want to read it.
Thing. Yeah, go ahead.
So, because that brings us to another quote. This is Julie Delpy.
I went in on her on Facebook.
You did. She said, 2 years ago, I said something about the Academy being very white male, which is the reality, and I was slashed to pieces by the media. It's funny, women can't talk. I sometimes wish I were African American.
No, you don't.
Because people don't bash them afterward. She added, it's
Black
the
Lives
hardest.
Matter, really?
She added, it's the hardest to be a woman. Feminist is something people hate above all. Nothing worse than being a woman in this business. I really believe that.
Yo, white feminist tears. I bathe in that shit. Y'all are ridiculous. That's absurd.
Like, why do you take it? You want to be? Do you want to be African American?
Now,
First of all, wasn't nobody talking about, let's be real, nobody was talking about what Julie Delpy said 2 years ago. She didn't get ripped to shreds. First of all, that's completely false. That's so false.
I don't know. Because like the backlash that she must have felt is nowhere near the amount of I've wrote so for this episode I have like 3 pages of quotes.
My goodness.
But like that is a small sampling of the amount of quotes, especially if you consider quotes that happened after the Oscars changed their voting ballots. Yeah.
Can I just want to make it. I want to take it out of movies for a second and just bring it. I want to bring it to Queen B. All right. I want to bring it to Beyonce for a second. Right.
I'm so sick of her.
I'm sick of Beyonce too. But this is the thing. Like this woman is saying she was like stripped to shreds. Right. Ripped to shreds. Beyonce had an award. Not even an award. She had an appearance on a Super Bowl. Right.
Yes.
The Miami police want her to apologize. The New York police want her to apologize for technically a thing that she kind of didn't even say when she performed. She didn't even say it when she performed. And so you're telling me this woman wants to be African American, or a woman who is black, who was technically colorless at one point, dressed up and put a black fist in the sky and is now being demanded by police. Police saying they don't want to show up to her tour to protect her because of something she did not say. This woman is saying she wants to be that? She wants to be that?
Right.
What the fuck are people thinking?
It's just such a like, oh, woe is me kind of thing. And I do there's absolutely validity to her argument in that women are not paid attention to in Hollywood. No one is denying that.
Right.
yeah.
The problem came when she was trying to hijack the whole Oscar so white thing and be like, well, what about women's issues? That was number one. Number two, the try and be like, oh, it's easier to be a black person. It is not. If she was black for 2 days, she would turn that shit back in.
But also to say it's easier to be a black person and pretend like there aren't black women. I mean, like,
right.
Because she said like
it's the erasure of black women, of course.
Because it's like, first of all, you understand when we're talking about race, we're talking about men and women, right? Like, of a certain race. And so to me, like, her comments were like absolutely just trivializing and almost like ignoring the fact that black women even exist. And not just black women, like we've been saying, like Latino women, Asian women, Native American women, like Arab women, so the idea that she would say something like that and be like, whatever, I mean, yeah, but what about what about women? Yeah, it's very reminiscent of Black Lives Matter. Yeah, but like all lives matter.
Because the thing is, like, that statement right there says that you're not thinking about all women.
Right.
It's like you're only thinking about, no offense, you're thinking about white women. Maybe she didn't mean it that way, but it's like you're taking out this whole other section of people. For instance, the Oscars every year, there will be a white woman nominated, period. I mean, that's a fact.
Right.
It will always be a white woman nominated.
There are 10.
You know what I'm saying? No, exactly. But what I'm saying is, that statement is like you're ignoring the fact that at least that privilege already exists, right?
Right.
That you get to be. I understand it's a big table, not a lot of women at that table, not people of color, but you're at the table still. Maybe 10 of you, but you always will be at that table.
Well, especially for what we're talking about, just being recognized in terms of acting nominations, women are always recognized because there are separate categories. That being said, it's like, yes, in terms of the pay issue, women need to get paid equally to men, and in terms of like representation in like directors especially. I mean, that's the biggest thing, I think.
But the thing is, even about the pay issue, there's no way that an actress of color could have written that letter.
Right. Of course not.
Oh, no way.
You know why?
You'd be out of work. You'd be out of job.
Because people would also say, who are you?
Yep.
Exactly.
Because you can never get to a Jennifer Lawrence level if you're a black woman. The closest that we got is Halle Berry, and she, went away almost immediately.
But she was in her late 30s. Jennifer Lawrence is early 20s with this type of notoriety.
Right. And Brie Larson is about to...
She's about to have the same thing.
She's about to have the same effect. Okay. Yeah. Oh, real quick. I'm sorry. We're going a little bit slow, but I wanted to make one point about the writing thing is that you can absolutely write something with people of color in mind. You know why? Because when you write and in your mind, you're like, well, this can be any person. That's fine if you actually are doing that like Shonda Rhimes is. But when you're the Coen brothers and you're writing, it's clear that you're like, well, I'm writing and every person that I'm writing has to be white. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're going out of their way to be like, oh, we can cast anybody in this role. No, you're not thinking that. You're writing something and your immediate thought is the protagonist is white. And if that is your immediate thought, you need to go, you know what? I need to correct this. And the only way to correct it is to put attention to it and be like, I am going to write a character and I am only going to look for people of color
Also,
because you have a failing. You clearly have an unconscious bias where you can't do that. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. I just want to say real quick to the Coen brothers, fuck you for saying that. Like, that's not how stories.
I thought you were straight about to apologize for.
I did too. I thought so too.
No, because a story, the beginning of a story can be anything. You know, to say that this is a way that a story does not get started, it's like, no, that's your process, right? To be someone standing in the position that you are in and to say something that broad about like this is how stories are created, it's like, no, that it's idiotic of you to say that's not a way that a story begins.
Yes.
I've said this before on the podcast, but it goes right off of what JB was just saying, but like when I was early writing my stories and writing my plays, my characters in my mind were white. They just were because of what I was seeing in movies. And I had to make a conscious choice to change that because I realized that there was an issue. There's a lack of people being represented. Sure, you might not do that, but that doesn't mean that's not the way a genesis of a story.
Yeah.
Because it could be.
And we're not saying like, oh, every film needs to have a black person.
Absolutely not.
Whatever.
Nobody's saying
that. But the fact of the matter is, nobody's doing it. You know what I mean?
And
it's like nobody's saying that, but like nobody's doing it, and because nobody's doing it, there aren't enough roles being written.
Yeah, and I also think the thing is, I feel like some people always say like they don't understand the struggle. Some of the things you don't have to write a movie with an Asian person and have like the Asian struggle in the movie. It could just that the lead is Asian. You know, you can just make a movie with just a normal person, like whatever that movie was going to be about, it can just be that struggle just with a person of color in it. It's
the issue is that anyone non-white, male, and straight has become so otherized, to use a word, that there is this like what Woody Allen said, that he's not going to write a role for a black person unless it like calls for it.
Wow, he really said that?
Yeah. And it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm like working on a pilot script about me just dating in New York. Like, black people date.
Yeah.
gay people date. Like there isn't like
It's this
there's-
other irony.
Right, it's not going to be like, oh, what's it like to be a black person every five? Like it's just going to
Exactly,
be
that's
me
the problem.
dating, just like how you have like Bridget Jones' Diary. She's
Right.
just dating. She's not like, what's it like to be a chubby British lady? Like
Right.
Yeah.
that's just who she is, and so she's in this world, and so
Right.
there's this way in which, because we're treated as the other, there is this misconception that is impossible to sort of grasp us
Yeah,
in a
well-
way and put us into a story because, we're not that. Where it's like, well, I can write a white dude and I'm not a white dude. It's not that hard. You just call him
Just
Derek.
do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
You know, this episode is brought to you by Squarespace.
Yeah.
Squarespace.com.
We've been talking about it forever because Squarespace is the place to go if you are looking to build your own website.
Yes.
You know what Squarespace is?
What's that?
What's Squarespace?
It's a ride or die. You know what I'm saying? They've been with us
Explain
since
that.
the beginning, and they've been
okay.
hanging out with us through the ups and the downs,
They
and
are.
the rain,
They
and the
are.
storms, and the sunshine.
Squarespace is a ride or die sponsor.
Yo, but can I just tell you why I like Squarespace?
Why do you like
Why you
Squarespace?
like it?
I got a website. It's called johnbraylock.com,
I've seen it.
JONBRAYLOCK.com. It's
Yeah.
pretty good. You know what? I made that myself.
No, you
didn't.
I made it myself using Square. Yes, I did.
No, that's crazy
you
because
didn't, dude.
I'm telling you right now that I made it myself.
That's
Okay,
crazy
all right,
because
all right,
You know how I did? I used Squarespace.
they got easy to use tools.
That's right. Intuitive designs.
Hope, can you drag and drop?
That's right. I picked that template. I was like, papa. And then I updated. I updated personally. I don't need to pay some person with some HTML code or nothing.
What? You
was
don't
right.
even need to know nobody that know that HTML code.
Nah, I remember when I had an old website, I used to have to badger this person to like change and update it. And I was like, this is annoying. I wish I could do this by myself. I can't with Squarespace.
Wow. How much does it cost?
Yeah, how much
Starts
does
at
it cost?
$8 a month.
No, it don't.
No, it don't,
Stop
bruh.
that. You stop that.
Free domain if you sign up for a year.
For a
You
what?
stop it. You
What?
stop it.
10% discount if you use our offer code JUMP.
Ho-
Wait a minute.
Wait, we got an offer code?
JUMP, 10% off.
10% off $8 a month?
What? You're saving.
Plus, you could start a trial website with no credit card required.
Oh, no, you ain't got good credit, bad credit.
I
Get it
ain't
in
even
there.
got one of those.
Oh, man.
Squarespace.
Can I say this slogan?
Do it.
Squarespace. Build it beautiful. I got it, y'all.
It's actually Squarespace. You should.
You should.
Wait, what are you talking about? No, it's
You
Squarespace.
should.
Build it
Squarespace,
beautiful.
you should.
Come on, man.
Guys, no. We've been
man.
doing this for a while. I messed up every time. It's Squarespace. Build it
You
beautiful.
should.
You should. It's a new slogan. Peace.
I just learned this one.
Let me go through some of these other quotes. We have Charlotte. How do you say
thank
your
you.
name? Rampling?
I'm sorry. I
So
had
we have
this
to
one
go.
up.
We have to go to this one.
I had
because a lot
this
of
one up.
people
I
have
was
the
ready
same
for this
reaction,
one. I was ready for this one.
which was when people were saying, were people complaining about to the Academy? That's 2 years in a row. That's 40 actors. All of them are white. There are no people of color, not just black people. 0 people of color who are not just white, European descent.
Where did we end on Mark Ruffalo though? He's tan sometimes.
he's
Mark
white.
Ruffalo is white.
Is he? I mean, he's tan.
Yeah, but
sometimes.
Mark
sometimes he's
Ruffalo
tan,
is
right?
like-
Like sometimes,
Gerard's
like,
you don't
you
know.
gotta get one.
Gerard's
Like,
very thirsty. He's in the desert. He's
Like, you
seeing
gotta get
mirages.
one, right? Like,
He's seeing a Mark Ruffalo mirage. He
No,
thinks
he's white, but he's woke. He's white, but
All
he's
right,
woke.
man.
Okay,
I'm
so
trying to get one in there.
she said about the whole controversy that it is racist to whites.
Mm-hmm.
One can never really know, but perhaps the black actors did not deserve to make the final list.
Jason Mitchell.
Perhaps he did not deserve it.
Easy. That kid who played Easy E.
Hey, perhaps he did not deserve it.
Here's the thing with
I
that.
don't even have-
And first of all, she's old as fuck, and Michael Caine is old as fuck. So there's a part of me that's like, I might give y'all a tiny pass
Right.
because it's too late to try and fix
Yeah.
you. But there is some.
Yeah.
What annoys me about their arguments is that
Michael Caine said to be patient. It took him years to get an Oscar, and but in the end, you can't vote for an actor because he's black.
But doesn't he say the blacks need to be patient? Is the blacks in there?
No, he was just saying. I mean, he
When people say the
Yes,
blacks, I'm
I
already
mean-
questioning your lifestyle choices. The blacks need to come.
he didn't say the
82
blacks.
years old.
He was referring to
82.
black actors
Okay.
because of the controversy, but he was just like,
82.
you can't say I'm going to vote for him. He's not very good, but he's black. I'll vote for him. You have to give a good performance, and I'm sure people have.
Right, but there's something that is what bothers me about those two is because there's inherently this belief that if a person of color gets nominated, it's not because they're talented.
Yeah, and
or if they don't get nominated, it's because they aren't talented.
Right.
Yes, and so it's like it just makes no sense because it's like we're just clearly operating on different standards of merit for different people.
Right.
And the idea is that a person of color is always maybe just not good enough to do what white people are doing.
Right. And the reason that she was saying, excuse me, it's racist to whites is because it's like this common thing that people say, like reverse racism. Oh, you're saying I'm racist just because I'm white, and that's racist. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So it's like all white people aren't the same. I'm not racist. And to say that we didn't pick these people because we're racist is a racist thing to say. First of all, nobody... I mean, I'm sure some people on Twitter were, but the majority of publications that were posting about Oscars So White did not say that the Academy was racist. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
People weren't saying Academy is racist, and that's why they don't like black people, and that's why they didn't nominate it. No, in fact, mostly everybody was saying, hey, the Academy is made up of 90% white people, 70% male, and like 60% are over the age of 60. It's probably because of those demographics that they are nominating things that are similar every year, and they are not looking outside of their scope of what their lives are. Other performances like Straight Outta Compton aren't connecting to them because they don't know anything about that life, and therefore it doesn't have the same appeal, which is just true.
But I also object to that. I object to that because we are all conditioned to empathize and identify with stories that do not reflect our lives.
Yes.
However, that same standard is not expected of white people. So I absolutely reject that.
It's hard
because you didn't grow up in Compton. You can't.
Right? No, I completely agree. But what I'm saying is like, and some people who are in the Academy who are like older and white males are like, I love Straight Outta Compton. I voted for it. So don't tell me that I'm racist. And it's like, dude, if that's true, then why are you being defensive? If anything, you should be like, I know, I'm sad that my colleagues, we could not come to a conclusion that this is a movie deserving to be nominated. Not being, it's like, if your initial response is like to be defensive because somebody is saying, there is a problem here in this structure that you're a part of, and you're like, well, I'm not racist. It's like, all right, is that helping?
But we started the podcast by saying, just so that everybody knows, this is not like we're against white people, right?
I'm half white.
But because JB is half white and because producer Nick is in the room, right? But no, because we are combating an idea that like exists in the world because of conditioning over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
What, like you just said, right? So like what happens is, and it's hard because I think, yes, sometimes a white person might feel like they need to get defensive because they think that we are pointing at them and saying you are racist, but that's not what we're saying. Like it's like there's an idea that exists. There's
racial prejudice can exist within you without you being a quote unquote racist.
Right. And it's like that unconscious bias people hear about all the time. It's like people instinctively think certain things based on how they're brought up. You know what I'm saying? They don't mean to. It's like if you see a black, like if James is walking down the street with a hoodie late at night and there's 3 white women on the street, I'm pretty sure they cross the street or tighten their purse. That's just natural, right? They don't mean to do it. They're not saying like he's, it's just a thing. These movies, and to have a black person or a person of color in the movie, right? Black people already know, I feel like. You have to be exceptional. I mean, we've reviewed a lot of, like, slave movies recently, and they always call the black person who's the lead an exceptional Negro, right?
Wait, who said that?
Like in the slave movies.
In the slave movies, like if you watch Django.
Slavery movies. I'm so.
I'm over them too. But
I will go see Birth of a Nation, but I'm like, I'm fucking done. I
can't even see that now because we got like
Underground.
we got underground TV show. We got the reboot of Roots. I'm tired. Slavery is not the
Wait,
Roots.
what's Underground?
It's a slavery TV show about guess what?
The Underground.
The slaves that run.
No, y'all need to make a TV show about me having sex with Michael B. Jordan. Make that, please. That needs to be a show.
Can that be a show? Just real quick. Can that be a show?
But you need to.
I'll go method.
I'll go method acting in this. I will go method acting in this. But it's like you have to be like this exceptional thing, and for people to say it's like I can't relate to Straight Outta Compton. You telling me some of these 80-year-old white dudes can relate to the Danish girl? Can't? I mean, it's something my thing is they will open their minds
Maybe.
up to that,
Do you know what I
right?
mean?
Why
Maybe.
won't they open their minds up to if you think about Straight Outta Compton, take out the hood aspect of it, right?
I cried.
It's a struggle. It is literally a human struggle at one point.
And it's hard too because you said they have to be exceptional, but Jason Mitchell is exceptional.
He was
in
exceptional
Straight
in that
Outta
movie.
Compton. He is. The New York Times points out him and Paul Giamatti as being as out acting the whole company.
Yeah, they killed it.
They're the best, right? I don't know. It's tough. I also don't want it to be that we're nominating people just because they're black, but it's also but it's almost like you have to ask the question, to turn that part of your brain on for a second. You have to say, wait, they're underrepresented so that there can then be a change.
Right.
I mean, right?
You got to
But
flood
it's
the
also
market.
some people are are not getting nominations because they aren't white.
Right. Yeah.
It's why Straight Outta Compton wasn't nominated. It's why Idris Elba didn't get a nomination. You know what I mean? If that was Michael Shannon, done.
Yeah.
Nomination easy.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of people will say, so for Beast of No Nation, for instance, right? I've read, because we reviewed that film, we watched it, and
good.
we were like, what in the heck? How did this movie not get nominated? A lot of people were saying, well, people probably didn't see it because it's a tough film to watch or whatever. I saw Room. There is not a tougher film to watch than Room.
I need to watch it. Don't ruin it.
I'm not going to
I
ruin
haven't
it.
seen it yet either.
You guys know the basic premise of it, though, right?
Yeah.
So and it's not ruining anything. But it's it's a woman who's been kidnapped and trapped for 7 years, and has this. And I mean, all of this is not even said. It's just understood. And has a son she had that son with her captor. So and they're just trapped in a room, and that's the movie. And the thing is, it's so tough because I can't even imagine what somebody's going through. You know what I mean? And so it's such a troubling, disturbing film to watch. But everybody watched it. Why couldn't they watch Beasts of No Nation? There's a reason. You know what I mean? There is a reason for it, and to say that race doesn't play a part in it, to me, it's you're just trying to you can only come up with so many excuses before you're well, maybe this isn't real. You know what I mean? It's like when Bill Cosby. It's like when women started coming out, and everybody, because they love Bill Cosby so much, we're like, well, I don't know, maybe that woman just is looking for money. Oh, well, that was a really long time ago, so I don't know, maybe she was kind of I don't know. Well, that woman, how many maybe she can you say before you're guys?
I think we should have hit that number already.
No, we did. I think for Bill Cosby, everybody finally has.
I wasn't even talking about him.
I'm talking for the movie. Oh, yeah,
movies.
right. That's what I'm
hit that
saying. It's
number already.
how many excuses do you come up with before you go, you know what? It probably is something about race. And even though it's not because there are a bunch of people in the room being let's not nominate black people, you know what I mean? Or let's only nominate them for slave movies. No. Nobody's saying that, but there is a reason.
There's a...
Well, what I'm saying is, I don't think people are necessarily. There are probably some, but I don't think most people are sitting down and being I don't want to nominate a black movie unless it's about slavery. But that is what they do, and so there is a reason that you're doing that. So let's delve into that. Delve into why it's happening.
Because basically, what you do, to me, is to bring up that there's an issue with race and diversity in Hollywood. One, I feel like people need to fully understand what diversity is. We should touch on that because I feel like people use that word incorrectly. But what you do is kind of touch on James. When you say that is a diversity issue, you are pointing a finger almost. Because the thing is for you to say, if I was in a room full of white directors, right, and I said, hey, there's a diversity issue, we should try to get more women, more people of color. What I'm saying is that you guys are here and you guys aren't doing your job, or you are the cause of this problem, which is true. It is you. And the thing is, no one wants to take that blame because what you're saying now is you're taking this person like a Cohen, right? You're taking one of the Cohen brothers and say, hey, you have a race problem. And no one wants to be a racist. No one ever wants to be considered racist.
But that can't be the worst possible thing.
It's true. People just need to acknowledge it, but you're saying to them is you're pointing the finger at them, and now they have to deal with themselves, whereas before they didn't have to.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm asking you to change.
And it's pervasive, right? It's not just white people who think this way, because James is saying, right, when he was writing and he was imagining his characters as white. There's a reason for that. It's not because James is I think white people are better than black people.
Yeah.
It's because of what our culture is. That's why we have somebody like Stacey Dash.
Oh, can we not talk about that?
I mean, we had to.
You gotta
we
say
gotta
it.
be. So Stacey Dash on Fox News,
Dude,
said,
I'm not here for the coons.
we have to make. Oh no! She said we have to make up our minds. Either we want segregation or integration, and if we don't want segregation, then we need to get rid of channels like BET and the BET Awards and the Image Awards, where you're only awarded if you're black. If it were the other way around, we would be up in arms. It's a double standard. She doubled down on her comment.
Can we?
But wait, has she been in like 17 BET movies?
Oh, did you see what BET did to her? Did you see what BET?
No,
did?
what they do?
The day after this BET. Usually I'm not. You know what? I'm usually not a fan of BET, but you know what? You guys want me over. They trolled Stacey Dash. So the next day they basically did Never Forget, like hashtag Never Forget on BET, and they played everything she's been in on BET. The Game, every hip hop music video where she was like the girl in a bikini just hanging out.
Yeah.
They literally just like start
It's
playing
like you
it back
wouldn't
to back,
be where
back
you
to back.
were if it wasn't for this channel
We
that
kept
was
you
like,
fed.
you know what? There's clearly there's clearly very few people in Hollywood who are willing to put like people who are black in films and movies and television shows. So you know what? We're going to take those films and highlight them. The reason there's a Black History Month and not a White History Month is because we know white history.
It's the history we study.
Do you know how much English history I know? It's ridiculous how much history I know about England, and I know zero. We know no history about Africa. The only history we know about Africa is that there was the Atlantic slave route. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we don't know exactly how it went down. All we know is that there are some people that are put in boats, and millions of them died on their way over here.
And it's disgusting too that she doesn't have the understanding that like BET. The point of it is not segregation, right? Like the point of it is so that
providing jobs,
right? Yeah,
And it's honoring those who aren't being honored.
recognizing that there's a hole, there's something missing, and so trying to fill that gap, with these channels.
And also, I liked how she said, like, if it was the other way around, we'd be up in arms. We are up in arms. What you
Because
talking
it's
about,
the
woman?
other way around.
Yeah, it
The
is.
reason
It is
that you're
literally-
commenting is because we're up in arms.
They don't openly say, this is for white people, right? But it's like Macklemore's going to get a BET award if he has a good album, right? Like, it's not, right? Like,
Is
it's
he? I
so
don't know. I don't know.
I think he might actually win. I mean, look,
I know
no-
that white privilege song.
Yeah, it's,
I don't hate it.
No, I like Macklemore.
no. I mean,
like
the thing
Macklemore.
is, like, think about Eminem. No one, like, Eminem got tons of BET awards. Like, no one was like, "Hey, don't get this white boy." He was good. Like, we don't sit here and say. I feel like black people don't sit here and say.
People were. No, people
People were very accepting.
Some people didn't
were
want.
very accepting of Eminem, bro.
God, I just
He
want to
got
say,
accepted early
a
on.
rap album has never won Best Album of the Year.
It should have been
A,
Kendrick.
a rap song has never won Best Record of the Year.
It should have been Kendrick or Alabama Shakes that one.
All I'm saying is, and I brought this up.
Unless
Me
you
and
count
Jonathan were
Outkast.
talking about this earlier in the week. If Kendrick didn't win for the Pimp a Butterfly, no black rapper. I gotta say black rapper. Because if you have an Iggy or somebody, of course they're going to get nominated, probably win. But no black
no,
rapper.
she's not going to get
No, I'm not saying
nominated.
Iggy, but there'd be a
Eminem
white-
never won.
What? Yeah, but it would be a white person to be closer to doing it than a black. If Kendrick couldn't win for the album he just had,
True.
that album,
I don't think
that
there would
album.
be
I
a
mean, because the
white
thing is,
rapper closer.
Macklemore has won more. Macklemore has won more Grammys than Nas, Busta Rhymes,
That's disgusting.
Jay-Z,
Wait,
Everything you just
seriously?
said.
Macklemore.
Wow.
Macklemore has won more awards than Nas. That is the
But,
world.
yeah.
That
I
is
know,
the
that-
world we live in.
Wait, how many
Super
Grammys does Jay-Z have?
Jay-Z, he might be even up with Jay-Z. Let me check. Because Macklemore has 4, Jay-Z has 3. Let me check.
Jay-Z only has 3 Grammys?
Let me check. But I know he's won more than Nas.
Also,
Nas only
though-
got one.
also,
Does Nas
though,
even get one?
Jay-Z ain't good anymore, guys. Come on.
I know, but back in the day, I agree.
Bruh.
I agree. He's
Let's be
too
real
rich.
about it.
He's just talking about going to
You know what I mean? But
museums.
he's still.
I love how we got onto the music. Okay, so wait, real quick, I want to talk about, because the Academy, and I think we should give them props. I mean, I'm giving them props. I'm going to give them props. They changed their voting. I know it's only one thing, but it's a thing that they could change, and they could do immediately and not wait and not say like, well, I know, what are we going to do? It's like, no. The reason that I did want to talk about this. The reason that the Academy Awards are important, and we shouldn't just let the Academy go and be like, well, it's just the industry. First of all, the Academy is made up of people who are in the industry. right?
Right.
So like to say like it's the industry and not the Academy is to not understand what the Academy is. It's like that is made up of people in the industry. There are people in the Academy who are voting who are also not writing roles for diverse people, who are not casting them, who are not, you know what I mean? Like, so we'll say that. And then the other thing I want to say is like we showed, the Academy has an economic effect, it has a prestige effect, and it highlights films that people otherwise would never see. Like, so it's just a visibility factor. You know what I mean? Like, if you are nominated for Academy Award, more people will even hear and talk about you. You'll get interviews. You'll get, you know what I mean? Like, there will be more press about you. So it is important that people get nominated and that the Academy is looking. And if they have to look harder, fine. That's their job. That's what they can do, is to look harder. So they change their voting things. Basically, the biggest thing is that each new member's voting status will last 10 years and will be renewed if that person is still active in motion pictures during the decade.
And then Steven Spielberg's corny ass had to comment.
Well, he had to, because there are a bunch of people. So basically, and then the other thing is like, if you've been nominated or if you've won an Academy Award, then you're exempt from that rule, so you can be in it forever, basically. And so, a lot of people, a lot of older white Academy members were like, "This is ageist. You are being ageist to us just because we are retired and we're no longer working in the industry, and you're treating us with disrespect, and we've earned our right in the Academy, and therefore, how can you take away our voting privileges?" Right? This is what one person said. "Do we really want the world to think there's a conspiracy being carried out by older white males to not give awards to artists of color? Do we really think people like me, who came of age in the 60s, want to limit opportunities for anyone?" Mm-hmm. And then he was like, "I want to know how many old white men like me placed these films on their ballots," meaning like films like Straight Outta Compton or Creed. "How many of the people attacking us, old folks, even see the films eligible for the awards recognition? Why am I being hung out to dry because I grew up when I did, worked my tail off, and made enough of success to be invited to join the Academy? And what makes my life experience not worthy of an active place in the Academy?" By the way, so you would think that this is somebody who's done a lot of prestige, amazing work, right? To the way that they're speaking. Here's some of the movies he's directed. George of the Jungle.
Wait, who does?
Loved that, though. Loved George of the Jungle.
Shut your mouth! George of the Jungle. With Brendan Fraser,
baby.
What else?
D2, The Mighty Ducks 2.
That's the one with Kenan Thompson.
What's the worst that could happen with Martin
Lawrence and Danny DeVito?
Oh, I saw that in theaters with my family, though.
I mean, this is my thing. See that right
I'm
there.
just saying, though,
Right,
this
right.
isn't some dude who has made like amazing films. It's like he's
Right.
made popcorn films, and you're like, you know what, dude? Do you know how many is Robert Townsend in the Academy?
Ooh.
That's a great
is he?
question.
I'm asking. I don't know. I
Said that though, like he wasn't,
tweet
and then I
at
got real
him.
Tweet at
sad.
him. We need to
real
know.
quick.
We need to know.
Tweet
Is
at Robert.
Keenan
sad.
Ivory Wayans in the Academy?
Real quick.
Ooh, I don't know.
It's
Well,
getting
you know
hot.
what I'm saying, though?
And here's my other thing about this
Oh,
dude's
no.
response. It's like all of his.
Are black people who have done so many exceptional films, but the fact of the matter is the Academy never recognizes them. And
So the Academy recognized George of the Jungle? The
no,
Academy
it didn't.
is like, Academy's
no,
like,
it
hey,
didn't. But
this
he was
dude-
invited into the Academy.
How
He
you
was
get
given a
invited after
membership
that?
status. And the thing is, like, I'm like, okay, you make one or two really good movies, and then you make a bunch of like movies that are considered.
Wait, what
like,
are his really good movies? though?
I mean, actually, don't really. He made a movie called Out of Towners.
Nah, he didn't
That's
make any really good movies. he
Nah,
just made
bro.
Out of Towners. That's that movie with.
If George of the Jungle is number one on that list, bro. He ain't got it. He ain't do it.
But what I'm saying is,
He
like,
ain't do
I'm like,
it.
first of all, if you're gonna go there, then let's go to who is accepted into the Academy, right? Let's be real about that. There are exceptional black filmmakers, actors, screenwriters who are not accepted into the Academy, and to
mean,
be like,
yep.
oh well, I earned my way. Oh, they didn't? Why? Because you made George of the Jungle, you earned your spot to have voting privileges for the rest of your entire life? That's a privilege.
And also the thing is
10
like,
years. That's a lot.
but everyone also thinks like you are retired now, right? You are out. So
Yeah.
you don't know what is happening. You don't know these innovations. You're not watching these things. You may not have been a fan or around, for instance, when like NWA was out. So this isn't the thing. You are out of touch. And the thing is, if you're a person in any job, and if the job starts to evolve and you don't, you were let go.
Yeah.
That's just a fact of life.
And that's the thing that's most upsetting about this is that like this, he's saying like, why is my opinion not valuable? But it's like, if you're not active in doing it, then like that's why. Like if you're not
good at your job.
You're not good at your job, or you are done doing your job. So stop. You shouldn't have like that much of an influence on the future if you are done.
Also, my thing is like, dude, it's an incredible honor and privilege to be able to vote in the Academy for. Now he's been in it for like 30. He's been in it for like 20 or something years, right? Most people probably will be in it for more than 10. But even if you made one movie and then you got accepted and then you never made another movie again, that's 10 years you get to be one of the deciding factors of who is going to win Best Picture. It is a huge honor. And to have it for 10 years and to be like, if I can't get it for the rest of my life, then that's not fair.
Like, what do you think?
But we're the ones who are whining because 40 actors all are white. We want one person of color, but we're whining and you're not because you can't vote for life.
Which movie is the movie you think got him in the Academy?
I don't know.
You think it was George of the Jungle?
I think it was D2.
You think it was D2?
It was D2.
Yeah, 'cause that's the one with the knuckle puck.
It was a knuckle puck.
Yeah,
It was a knuckle puck.
So this other dude, this Robert Warden, who's an ex-Oscar publicist, said one should hope that the board would now have another meeting to seriously discuss how to overcome the damage to the Academy and the membership and the Oscar franchise because of these new voting.
Yo, man.
Do you understand what he's saying? He's saying now there is going to be damage to the Oscar franchise because
Of
there is going to be
inclusion.
a
It will be
look.
including. Yeah.
This is how people are thinking.
Because James would have a good point. We had a brief discussion like a few episodes ago. He's like, people like that just assume, and they're like, oh my goodness, now they're going to be nominating Tyler Perry movies.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
But
I think of like you're
we
now
have-
you're
It's like
tainting.
we're not going to nominate Tyler
We
Perry
want- we
movies,
still
just like
want
we're
the
not
best.
nominating fucking Chris Pine movies.
Yeah,
like we
Exactly.
we have checks and balances. Be like, you're boo boo. You're not
But
getting
Chris
in.
Pine though.
He's basic as fuck. I'm not going to get any jobs for like 6 years.
None of us are getting jobs. We
Star
made
Trek.
the Coen Brothers.
No,
Trek.
this isn't making fun of them, but the thing about the Coen Brothers and stuff like that is like
Anybody who done that.
you're
not
getting so defensive,
exceptional.
you're denying what's happening.
Yes. That reminds me of the Jimmy Kimmel sketch. We have to talk about that, right? So Jimmy Kimmel has a sketch that involved
that
a
sketch
supposed
so much.
representative of the Academy introducing new marketing so that more diverse, so that they can be more diverse and appealing to black audiences. So it brought up the trope of like, okay, so we can change The Big Short to The Big Shorty, starring Lil Bow Wow. By the way, disrespectful. It's just Bow Wow.
First off,
He dropped
Yeah,
the Lil
this is
moniker a
disrespectful.
long time ago.
Yeah.
Then instead
can't
of
even-
room,
see,
it could become crib.
Real quick, did you watch at the beginning of the Grammys when Bow Wow
oh
tried to
Bow Wow,
talk?
I'm so sorry, Bow Wow.
What happened?
What happened?
Oh Bow
So
Wow.
it was like, so he was wrapping up the pre-show. It was like a countdown clock of 2 minutes, and he kept like trying to toss it to LL before it was like time.
Yeah.
So he did it like 3 times. The camera guy just stayed on him and like was not bailing him out. He was like,
I'm
"Okay,
dancing.
it's about to start right about now," and the camera just like stayed on. He's
Because he
like,
still had time.
right, he still had
But he
time.
just kept throwing to it
He
too
kept-
early?
Yep.
And he kept trying to, she kept trying to ad lib. I'm dancing. I'm excited. I'm dancing, y'all. Oh, it's time to get started. 3, 2. Oh man, I'm so excited. Everybody's in their seats.
He was like, "Sure, are you excited for the Grammys?" He was like,
man,
"Yeah."
Bow Wow.
It was. Oh, you have to watch it.
Shad Moss.
Shad
Come on,
Moss.
baby.
Yo, for real though, the
Sorry.
Martian become the Martin with Martin Lawrence face. Bring
Here's
me
the
home.
thing about
homie.
that. Here's the thing about that sketch. I wanted it to be funny, and as it kept going on, I kept being like, "Can you do something? Can something be smart?" And it just never was.
Can I give a shout out to the writer of that
basically-
sketch real
What?
quick?
You mean all the white dudes who wrote
All
that?
the white dudes, fuck y'all. And let me tell you why I say that. It's because basically in that sketch, what you're saying, taking the room and calling the room crib, the crib. What the fuck do you think is the point of that joke? You know what you're saying in that joke is that to make this movie relatable to black people, it has to be hood. It has to be ghetto, which people use fucking incorrectly half the time. So you're saying for a movie to be even appealing to African Americans, it has to have some hood connotation. Like we ain't fucking smart,
but
like we
that's-
don't read. Like you couldn't still call the room and not have us relate to it. It gotta be called the goddamn crib.
But that's like
y'all.
exact. Like I think people actually
This is
look at
crazy.
things that way, though.
I
Right?
know
people
like,
do.
100% because that's what people were saying.
Like look at it like that. And
They're
so
like,
that-
"Oh, what? We have to nominate Kevin Hart we have to nominate a Kevin Hart film. First of all, it's like to say Kevin Hart could never do an Oscar-worthy movie is already disrespectful.
Right.
But like to also be like, yeah, when we say we want more movies, we want a movie like Soul Plane to be nominated is like. It's literally doing the exact thing that we're saying, which is black people are invisible to you. And they're only visible to you when we're doing stereotypical, like, hood black films, or if they're slaves or a maid or, like, some beat-up homeless person. Like,
And the thing I also want to just say real quick is, like, yes, nominate one of those films if it's the best.
Yeah.
Like, if it is...
a film can have an all-black cast and be pretty damn good.
Be the best.
But see, that's not.
It can be starring Kevin Hart. It can be written by Tyler Perry. It can be
Beast of
all
No
of those
Nation.
things together.
Beast of No Nation, all black people.
Can we real quick just define what diversity truly means?
Okay, yeah.
Because I feel like people in Ava DuVernay, director Ava DuVernay,
I
talked about
love
it.
her.
She talked about it, and she talked about people
God, yeah.
keep using the word diversity wrong.
Yes.
Diversity is a collection of different things in one place. So, like, having a movie that's all black is great, but that doesn't signify diversity, right? What you need to have in a movie that signifies diversity is you need to have a collection of different cultures of different people and have it not be a thing, right? That's it. You just need a movie. Say you took, like, for instance, the movie that is super diverse right now without it being a thing is Star Wars. The new Star Wars is coming out. This new movie has now white people. It has an Asian female lead, which God knows, thank God, finally this has happened. Asian female lead has a black man
Not
lead.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
You stop it right now.
Wait, Ray is Asian?
Huh? No. There's a new.
It's
Someone got
not
cast.
yet, not
Someone
yet.
new. Someone new in the new
okay,
one. What's
got
it?
it.
8? Star Wars 8. What is it? Episode 8. I don't know how
Episode
they
8.
rank them things. Whatever. The new one that's coming out. It's an Asian woman lead. Gugu's in it. So you have a black female lead in it now. You have
Oscar Isaac?
Well,
Oscar
Who's
Isaac.
Guatemala?
Lupita was in it,
Benicio
too.
del Toro is in this one. That's
Oh,
coming
he
out.
is?
The new one.
so
What is it? 8.
Episode 8.
So like this is a collection of races. You know what I'm saying? A collection of people who exist
Because
in the world.
it's in a galaxy.
But my point is, like, this can exist. It is very easy to do.
Yeah.
Like, people getting so
And
defensive
people
about-
freaked
because it's
out, though.
fictional.
People
It's a
freaked out.
fictional
People were
galaxy.
still freaked
Yeah.
out, and they were like, why is there a black stormtrooper? And it's like, because there is.
It's a stormtrooper.
What? It's
a
a
stormtrooper.
fictional reality.
Yeah.
Why can't there be a black stormtrooper?
And I think,
Yeah.
I think people are feeling so defensive because it's like, again, they're feeling attacked. And they shouldn't feel attacked.
Yeah, I agree with you. The
There's a
diversity in
dismantling-
a film can be a bunch. Sorry, it doesn't have to be all black people. But what I'm saying is, like, it can be all black people too, because there are films that are nominated with all white people.
Yeah.
And a diversity in a collection of films would be: here's a film
Yes.
with all white people. Here's a film with all black people. Here's a film with black people, white people, Asian people, Latino people. Here's a film just about Latinos. Here's a film just about Asians. And we can look at all of these and be like, they can, if they are of equal merit, then they can be good. And we don't have to look at it like, well, that movie has all black cast, and therefore, sorry, but it's not Oscar type material unless you're talking about the black struggle, how it relates to us, white people. And if you're not, then I'm sorry.
Can I say something that will never get me cast in a movie right now?
Don't.
I've got to. Basically, this is the fear, right? The fear of like a white male exec, or even like one of these white actors in Hollywood, is that if we open up the gates and let people in, women, people of color, they will lose jobs, right? Straight up. Because now what happens is some of these bum ass directors like McG, right, won't exist because now he has to be the best because this pool is smaller now because now we have female directors, now we have black directors. And I'm saying it to you right now, white guys,
I know. You just took his stuff out of all McG.
Oh, well, I'm saying, listen,
Dude,
well,
you're about to lose out on so much money right now.
this is my thing. This is
Let
an
me just
example.
say to McG real quick. Terminator Salvation. I mean, you know.
Just as an example.
What was
But
the
it's
other
true,
one?
there's a
No, but
dismantling
it's
of
but it is.
the patriarchy,
Yeah, and the thing
and
is-
there's fear in that because they're
that
fearful
Ronald-
that what they have been doing to everyone else is going to get done to them.
And this is my
Charlotte
thing.
Saint-
This is my thing I was
Charlotte-
saying though.
Charlie's
Be scared.
Angels.
Be scared. Be scared. Because I'm gonna tell you what you need to do.
Yeah,
is
you gotta be good.
better.
You gotta be
Yeah,
better.
it's like now you can't be lazy. Now there will be female directors who rival some of your best white male directors.
Now-
Yeah.
Be scared.
Now-
be better.
and
now, so-
evolve.
Oh, wait, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, because some people might say, so this quote. This guy is Milton Justice. He is a current Academy member.
Oh, yeah.
On the response to Academy rule changes, right?
Is this guy white?
Yes, of course.
I don't know. He could be.
Oh,
a light-skinned
you're
Negro.
right. Because Milton Justice, I was like, oh, maybe he's black. He's not. He's white.
Okay.
What bothers me, he does documentaries, I'm pretty sure. What bothers me most is how insulting this is to black people. The rule changes. Interesting. On David Oyelowo not getting nominated, maybe there weren't enough actors in the actors branch who thought he was good enough to be nominated. I'm not in the actors branch, but I certainly didn't think he was very good in the part.
He didn't think he was good?
No.
Yeah, no,
and on
listen to me.
another note, apparently everyone is afraid to tell Ava DuVernay that it wasn't a very good film. And that's why she wasn't nominated. It had nothing to do with her being black or woman. It was badly shot. Really badly shot.
Damn, those are some shots fired.
Yeah. I mean,
That's petty. That is petty. Petty.
that's your opinion, Melton.
Who in the Academy comes out and goes, yo, Leo, you were great in The Aviator. You were great in The Kings of New York. You were great in The Departed. I really liked you in Blood Diamond. I really liked you in...
Everything but this movie.
But I really liked you in Wolf of Wall Street. Hey, man, in The Revenant, you weren't doing much, man. You were grunting a lot.
Wait,
and
I
your
have
lips
to
were
see
chapped.
it. I haven't seen it yet. But I know he
Yeah,
gets
no, I mean, I
Is
haven't
anybody
seen it
going
yet
up to him
either.
and saying, like, yo,
haven't
this film
seen it
wasn't
yet either,
that
but
great? No. In fact, when these people get snubbed, when, like, a Ridley Scott gets snubbed as director or Tarantino, you know what I mean, gets snubbed, or Coen Brothers get snubbed, people don't go, nobody's willing to say it, but, like, let's be real. Hateful Eight, like, the script could have been a little bit better. It was done really great performances.
Right.
Maybe the script could have been. Or, yeah, Ridley Scott's great, but, like, was The Martian the greatest directed
movie
film? I don't know.
sucks.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
didn't like
nobody's, and I'm not even saying these things. What I'm saying is, like, nobody's going to them and saying that. When they get snubbed, they're like, I'm so surprised. I can't believe it. Can you? And then when the Oscar So White comes out, they go, well, you know, black people aren't the only people who got snubbed. Ridley Scott got snubbed. You know,
I mean, it's
Tarantino
like-
got
it's
snubbed.
hard because,
Tom
like-
Hanks and Spielberg
like-
got snubbed. How about them? Why aren't you complaining about them?
Ain't nobody
Those
wants to see
people were
Bridge of
nominated for
Spies. Who the fuck wants to see Bridge of Spies?
No one saw Bridge of Spies.
But people
that
complain
about?
about that.
People
and
just
then-
standing in the shadow for 2 hours being like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah."
I saw Bridge of
That's the whole
Spies. It's like the movie is like, it's fine. It's a fine. There's nothing bad to say about the movie, but it's like, we've seen this movie a bunch. Spielberg has been nominated countless times. He's been nominated for movies he shouldn't have been nominated for.
Like
Everybody
the-
knows the War Horse movie wasn't good. He was nominated for that. That was nominated for Best Picture.
Wait,
Damn,
he
War
got
Horse
nominated
was?
for War Horse?
War Horse was nominated for Best Picture.
No, it
What?
wasn't. No, it
100%
wasn't.
was.
What?
100%
No, it
was.
wasn't.
Wars?
I'm just
Yes,
saying
I'm
no.
about to
I'm mad.
Google that.
I mean,
just
first
saying
off,
no 'cause I'm
Bridge of
mad.
Spies shouldn't be nominated. Look, man, what are we doing this for? Like my thing is, I'm so far. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing right now? Right now, my body doesn't know what to do, man.
Here's my thing. I like where Milton begins his statement, right? Thinking like, you know what, it's insulting to black people, meaning, right, that like focusing on that idea of like we shouldn't reward things that aren't worthy of a nomination. I like that idea, right? But he goes about it all wrong because first of all, Summer was fire. Okay, like Summer was.
But here's the thing. Yeah, but the reason I don't like that idea is because he's justifying the reason that people of color haven't been nominated isn't
Hold up.
because they're not there. Like,
And no,
they're not
even
great
that it's
performances
not
there.
all.
They're not great
It's
directors
like
there.
it's like the one that he was able to see is like Selma. You know, that's the one that he's able to talk about because it's the one that gets nominated. You know,
It was like
and
the
so
one
it's-
War
comedy
Horse
contestant.
got 6 Oscar
War Horse.
nominations?
Yeah.
War Horse? What was the movie about?
It's about a dude and his horse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a great play. It was a great play on Broadway.
Yeah.
That they made into I think it was a book.
Book.
maybe.
It was a book.
It was a book, and then they made a great play on Broadway with like puppets and stuff like that.
Right.
And then it went to a movie, and everybody was like, "Why did we do this?"
Yeah.
But
You want to talk about bias? You want to talk about bias?
That
is bias.
Yes.
The fact that Steven Spielberg keeps getting nominated.
He
and the
could
thing is-
take a shit and they're like,
And they're
let's
like, this is
nominate
still
him.
good.
You know
It's
why?
still him.
Because
We should
he
nominate
made
that
great
shit.
films, and he's just being nominated off of the clout of his previous work, which happens in the Academy all the time.
Sure.
But for black people, it doesn't, because the fact of the matter is, you can be great and black for so long, but there comes a certain point where the Academy's like, sorry, you missed your thing. We didn't nominate when you were younger. We can't nominate you now. And black people are not just black people, obviously, but we're talking about black people. Like, black people aren't recognized in those fashions. Like, there's so many great black actors who have never been nominated, period, after being in great films over and over and over again.
Can I ask you a question? Like
Yeah.
right now in this year, I'm only asking this question just because it's such a disparity between white women and women of color. What woman of color led a movie this year that should have been nominated for an Oscar? Like
That was the lead in a
that was
movie?
the lead of a movie.
What's her name in Tangerine?
Yeah, that's the only one I can think
That's
of.
the only person I can think of.
Who's
I don't
in
know
Tangerine?
who.
I'll Google it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forget her name.
But it was my point is that this is a year, 365 days. One movie is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. One movie. You know what I'm saying? Like this is. I'm just trying to put a point of like the things that people are like people are grasping for just like anything. One movie. That's
But you know
maybe.
what? You know what? It's on the Academy to do that. They need to go and look as hard as they possibly can because the industry isn't making it easier for them. However, if the industry thought that the Academy would recognize more diverse films, they would be more willing to put diverse people in casting. It's like a cycle. That's the thing that people don't understand.
Yeah.
You can't just say, "Oh, it's not the it's on the Academy," or "Oh, it's on the industry." It's like they work hand in hand, and to pretend like they don't is silly. Like Jennifer Lawrence, if she wasn't nominated for Winter's Bone, wouldn't have been greenlit to be the lead in every blockbuster from here to Kingdom Come.
Right.
David O. Russell wouldn't have worked with her again and again and again and again. You know what I mean? Like, it happened because the Academy nominated her. She gets buzz, and they're like, now we can use you because you have a name that with the subtitle Academy Award nominee, and we could push you in a bunch of stuff. And it's like, if you could only do it once or twice a year, that's a once or... The reason we started this podcast is because there's so few. The people who are constantly in consideration, it's still Will Smith. You know what I mean? It's still Will Smith,
Still
Denzel.
Denzel.
Right,
It's still
but
Spike Lee.
yeah.
It's still like the directors and the actors are still the same people over and over again because they're the only people who have the clout. You don't nominate Jason Mitchell, and now Jason Mitchell, when he goes to his next thing, he can't be Academy Award nominee Jason Mitchell. It's just Jason Mitchell, the dude who's in that Straight Outta Compton movie that got snubbed for a bunch of things. Now he doesn't have the same clout as he can. So he's not going to be like a Lupita who can now go and be,
technically-
you know what I mean?
But even Lupita is,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
I know,
Even
it's
for
true.
Lupita's next starring role, where she's the lead, she had to buy the script. She has to produce the movie. Lupita, who was the prize Negro at
And every
the
white
Oscars,
person like
everyone
patted
was like,
themselves
oh my
for
goodness,
liking her.
Her beautiful dark skin. Oh my goodness, where'd she come from? Yeah, dark skinned African Americans
prize
exist, and they're
Negro.
beautiful.
Look how she sounds so
Oh,
elegant.
oh
She's
my
so
God.
the way she talks.
What? But she's black and she's
Oh
not
my
light
God.
skinned. What she went to where?
And her hair's not straight, but it's so
What? She has a
beautiful.
fro, but she has different
Oh my
hairstyles with that fro. Who knew?
it's
Negroes could do
crazy.
different things.
You know what? We're gonna
put her in a dress. Oh, she wears a beautiful dress.
Oh, we're gonna
Who
make her the
knew?
face of Lancome.
Oh my
a company that no
God.
one fucking buys anymore.
This is great. And you know what? You know what she's starring in right now? You know what she's starring in?
Crickets, bitch.
She was in Star Wars.
Well,
but let me tell you one thing about
Eclipsed
Star
on
Wars.
Broadway.
Let me tell you one thing about Star Wars, though.
Yeah, she's doing a play on Broadway.
She's doing a play on Broadway. But what I'm saying is, she just got nominated for an Oscar. She's starring in a play on Broadway 2 years later.
Yeah.
What I'm saying?
Well, she
And
did Star Wars. That's it. right?
She did Star Wars. She had a bit part in Star Wars.
But you didn't
a
even see
bit
her
part
face.
in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Where technically, her scene, right? She could have made in maybe a month. I'm gonna say at the longest that would have took a month, right? You're telling me in 2 years, this woman who everyone put on a pedestal. Think about Jennifer Lawrence after she won. After she was nominated for Winter's Bone.
Yeah.
She got.
You're
got
absolutely right.
offers.
You're absolutely right.
What-
Lupita
what are
was
we
not
doing?
getting. You know why? Because she was in a slave movie.
And how is she gonna get
Wait, is
nominated?
that
Because you
why?
only go
I
nominated.
honestly think that's why. Because she was in a slave movie. People weren't like, okay, now you can be the lead of a franchise like
Hold on, that's my
Hunger
thing.
Games,
This is
or
my
you
thing.
can be a part of X-Men or whatever. Now it's possible that she turned down stuff like this. She didn't necessarily want to do it. It's possible she got roles that were offered to her, and she was like, I'm not feeling these things. You know what I mean?
I
That's
would
very
love to hear what
possible.
roles she got. Was it more slaves? Because
But I don't
clearly
know.
slave movies
I don't know,
and
but
TV
the fact of
shows
the matter
and
is,
style.
it all rests on her shoulders. Just like there are people who are like, when Ryan Coogler got the Black Panther movie, there were some people who were like, I wish he didn't do that. I wish he could just keep making whatever certain type of films. But the reason is, it's because we have one every 5 years.
People are weird.
You know
we're
what I mean?
thirsty, man.
Steve McQueen hasn't made another film since 12 years.
Oh no, because he's doing a TV show.
He's doing TV. I know. And what I'm saying though is like that's his choice. And I'm not blaming Steve McQueen, and I'm not necessarily the industry. I'm sure we're like, hey, do another film. But the fact of the matter is, it's like he gets nominated. You know what I mean? And we're like, great, another black director. And he's like, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to do this. I want to do TV right now. And they're like, flip. Well,
Because
there's not going to be another black director for another 5 years.
Because the weight is because we have so few people, and it's like, and I know I do this all the time, and I'm trying my best not to. Like when we first started this podcast, I used to come at Spike Lee so hard. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so few black directors, so many few black writers that are out there. It's like
he gets a lot of responsibility.
All the hope is on these very few, and it's not their sole responsibility.
And it shouldn't be, because they're artists. They should go where they feel led to go. They shouldn't be put in this box. And it's like the race film that we've watched with the Jesse Owens, which that's not going to get nominated for squat, right? But
it comes out February.
It's out already.
It's out already.
I mean, that's what I mean. It came out in February, right? So like. Yeah, those movies don't get nominated. Like it's too early.
Every now, it's
too early.
Rarely.
It's too early.
If it comes out like Sundance or something,
yeah,
not this
you know
movie.
what I'm saying. I mean, we clearly know that. But the thing is, like you said, like she couldn't, like Lupita. Go back to Lupita. She didn't get a franchise because she was in a slave movie. What other kind of movie would she have been? Like, there's never been a black woman in a film, right, that wasn't about being subservient. Like in The Help, like Viola Davis and
Octavia
Spencer were both maids, right? Halle Berry, I mean, was she homeless? Like, I don't even know what her character was. All I know, she got saved by Billy Bob Thornton after
she
being
wasn't
railed by Billy Bob Thornton.
homeless. She had a house.
What did she? Did she have a job? Like, what was her?
Her husband was in jail.
But what did she do?
wasn't. She was sad because her husband was.
My point is, where's the movie? Where's the movie where where's the movie where where's her Carol? You know what I'm saying? Where's our black Carol?
Where's our black raging bull?
Yeah, where is that?
Yeah.
Like, where is that? Like, especially for women of color, though.
But there was even controversy with Carol because some male reviewers were saying they didn't find it believable that she would be gay because, like, oh, she's married to Kyle Chandler and he's an attractive guy. Why would a woman be gay? And it's like, do you guys not understand how being gay works?
Like, do they write a review for their blog post called dumbguyreviews.com?
Yeah, but there was, even when we're talking like people of color, there's also like these ridiculous ways in which people view like LGBT people, where they're like, "Oh, you're only a lesbian because you haven't found the right guy," and you're like, "No, I was born that way."
It's like a thing that people think when they're 13 and they never grow out of it. They never even bother to try to understand.
Can I make a correction to something I said earlier? I'm going back to Macklemore. I'm sorry, I'm going back to Macklemore. Macklemore, so Jay-Z has more awards than Macklemore, more Grammys, but Macklemore has more Grammys than Tupac, Biggie, Nas, KRS-One, Busta Rhymes.
Wait, more than
but Tupac and Biggie, they
never won. That's the key. Is that Macklemore has won 4.
I know,
as a rapper.
Careers were
but
short.
to be fair though, rap was not. It took so long for the Grammy industry to even recognize rap.
Hear me out.
It's like with rock music and that, like Zeppelin never won anything, but now like rock tends to win.
But I'm only saying that is like these are when they were nominated. So they both like they always like. There's been like when Biggie was out, Tupac was out. There were still like rap categories, right? So like the people who won over some of our favorite artists are people like. Well, MC
but they're
Hammer,
black
whatever.
people.
Like MC Hammer and
it's still pop. That's what I'm saying. It's like
Yeah.
it's pop. It's because like Macklemore is a pop star. Like the Grammys they love pop. It's so dumb. I
just wanted to correct that. Like, he hasn't won more than Jay-Z, but he has won more than Nas and almost every other influential.
Because Jay-Z. Anyway,
That's
Jay-Z is more popular than
Jay-Z,
Nas.
yeah, Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And Biggie and Tupac are popular now, but they became even more popular after their deaths.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Anyway, I think that's it.
I mean, I don't know. No, but the thing is, this whole thing is like, we just did this episode, right? And we know, and I'm bringing it up every time. We know next year there's going to be a nomination. It's going to be for Birth of a Nation, which is great because Nate Parker did it himself. But again, to me, that worries me. What worries me about that movie is that it's another slavery movie. And so it's like, how do we get out of like seeing beaten down black bodies?
Right. Because they got to recognize movies, a movie like Dope, where it's not just somebody being beaten down. They're smart, exceptional. Like, I know Creed, he was still an athlete, which is another.
No, but that
thing,
was great.
But it was great.
I thought that would have been the one because like that's a relatable thing. It's not about his race. It was just an underdog story.
He was so good.
The Martian over Creed? Come on.
Anyway, so
Martian. Oh my God.
we have seen a lot of these films. The fact of the matter is, too, by the way, it's very subjective. So for somebody to be like, oh, but this film was better, it's like, well, first of all, that's your opinion. Second of all, you can go by like Rotten Tomato scores and see like some of these movies that were nominated didn't get great reviews. Like they got good reviews, but not like great.
Like Joy? We talking about Joy?
I mean, Joy for sure. But
Joy, well,
I mean, even some of the other, like The Martian, like we're talking about, and like, you know, Bridge of Spies. It's like, okay, it's like great, but except who knows? Anyway, I hope Mad Max wins. It's not going to.
People were
We all
mad at
know
Mad
that.
Max.
We all know the Revenant's going to win. By the way, can I just say this one thing about the Revenant? I'm sorry. I love Leo, and I love. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, she hasn't seen it.
I know you haven't seen it. I just need to say the real history. The real history. I'm not going to ruin the movie. I'm not going to ruin the movie.
Okay.
The real history.
Phoebe took off her headphones.
I was just saying, this isn't ruining the movie at all because it's in the trailers, right? There are Native Americans in the film.
Do they not talk? Fuck this movie. Even though I like Alejandro.
I'm not going to ruin it.
That's annoying.
Some of them talk, but they are very minor characters. And then I went and looked at the history. The real, like the legend of this guy has nothing to do with Native Americans. They put them in the film, so it's already fake to begin with. So I'm like, if you're going to add a fake element, then freaking give these people actual characters.
Wait.
There is zero reason to not give full fleshed out characters to your minorities. And then when Leo went and accepted the SAG, he said that he was doing it for the freaking, like for the Native Americans. I'm like, this movie has nothing to do with Native Americans. You put them there as a backdrop so that you can congratulate yourself and pat yourself on the back when you win a goddamn award. Are you kidding me? I'm telling you, I'm not going to ruin it.
You are so mad.
There are relationships that are in the movie that Leo has with Native Americans.
Please don't tell me he bangs a Native American woman and it's like...
I'm not going to say nothing about it. I'm not going to ruin the movie. I'm just going to say that the relationships that he has are fake, and then they also could decide to not give the fake people real life, like full fleshed out things. And also the whole revenge thing is fake too.
Yeah, I mean, this is my thing. It's like,
anyway,
I mean, remember what Marlon Brando did?
That
when
movie
he won?
is so yes.
Marlon Brando won. What movie was it for? Like he
on
won,
the waterfront.
Yeah, and he had like a native, like somebody from. Look,
yes.
man.
Yes, because he was very yes, because that was happening. It was something very political that was happening in that day and age. He took a stand. Accept the award for him and talk about it. And people hated him for it.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Are we watching the Oscars?
I am going to watch the Oscars. I love the Oscars.
Chris Rock is hosting.
I watch every year.
You know,
My dream is to win a Best Director Oscar. That's I want to direct, baby.
I mean, I know. I've thought about so many times what my Best Actor Acceptance Speech would be.
Oh man, look, I won 2 in one night, man. Best supporting, 2 in
Best
one picture.
I don't have those aspirations that you guys have. But what? No, like I.
Why are you bringing the room down, man?
No. Because I think the thing I want to say is like. Mm-hmm. Man, fuck the Oscars. No, I mean, like, really, like, I don't, you know, as much as we just had this talk, and I think it's all good, and it's all for a good cause. Like, you know, I don't want to give it more power. I don't think it needs to have it. We're making movies, and movies are fun, and they're entertaining, and like that's I care about that. You know,
but it's fun. But people also have to eat, man.
No, right, and I know that right now the way things currently exist. And they will for a very long time because it's a massive institution, you know, the Oscars will feed into more money and will feed into, right? But it's like, See, to me, the only reason I don't like when things break apart, right? Because everyone's like, oh, we shouldn't put so much faith in these award shows. But to me, what those award shows says is that, like, this is great and people need that. And so my thing is, if I had to go off and make a BET Awards, which is great, those awards are made because we want to be recognized here. To me, for things to be better is like we have to get to a point where we're all just people. Like, I say it all the time. Yeah. If we get to the point, 100%.
If we get to the point where people see people as just humans, we wouldn't have a problem with like women not getting paid equal as men because they will be considered just an equal person. There wouldn't be a problem of like people of color getting in these movies because I don't seem different than you.
Right.
I'm just a person breathing air just like you.
Yeah.
And it's important because it's important to see yourself reflected in a lot of ways in order to, like, you know, get the courage to do something. Like, I think about like the impact of like Lin-Manuel has.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna write an essay about that.
Right, but it's also like when because I missed In the Heights, and then I listened to Hamilton, and I like cried. But I was like, when I was listening to it, I was like, oh, I never thought that you could do this with Broadway. I thought it was a very traditional, like the white Shakespearean thing. That's the only thing that you can do. And then seeing that, it's like, oh, we can totally be more creative and welcome different voices and experiences to it. And so I think people who see that he's going to like influence like so many people of color, be like, oh, I can do this on Broadway.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I can do this other thing on Broadway. So then having these movies that you have people of color and you have gay people, and it's like, oh, like, instead of it being like, look at Sean Penn's so brave for portraying a gay person. It's like, no, an actual gay
Man could have just played that part.
right, and would have wanted to be like, oh, so I can be a gay dude and be out and be an actor and be celebrated and get work. Cool, but because that's not seen, everyone.
You know, it's gonna take. You're gonna be mad when I say this. You know, for like if a person like Michael Fassbender or like Leonardo DiCaprio came out as gay, then everything would change. I think it would change. I think if you have somebody so celebrated and they came out as like, oh, we've liked you for this long, we can't discriminate against you. But he's older. You need someone in the height. Like they're like Michael Fassbender, for instance, or Leonardo DiCaprio are so well respected right now that I feel like they are. I just feel like if they came out, it would open up the floodgates for like other people who maybe
you're saying that like they're obviously gay.
No, I'm not saying they are.
If they come out, I mean, if they would just
saying they're gay.
John Travolta, just come
out.
I'm not saying they would help.
We all know it.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I think they would give a voice to something and be like, yeah, this is fine. And then people would be like, all right, this is fine.
Yeah.
Quick shout out. Just watch Dope and Tangerine. They're both on Netflix. And you can see 2 films starring people of color, about people of color, that are very, very good. And then you'll be like, what the? Exactly. So, and Beast of No Nation. All of those 3 films are on Netflix.
All on Netflix.
Watch those films. Don't watch Joy.
Not to watch something.
I'm telling you.
No, watch whatever movie you want to watch.
But make sure you watch Dope.
Don't watch The Revenant. No,
Phoebe, thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming, Phoebe.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Do you want to? Is there anything you'd like to promote? Twitter handle?
Yeah. When is this going up?
It's going up Friday.
This Friday.
March 3rd. Sorry, hold on.
I love you said this Friday, like people know what this Friday is. The Friday before the Oscars.
Before the Oscars.
So Wednesday, March 2nd is the next Two Dope Queens show that Jessica Williams and I do at Union Hall.
What time is that?
It's at 8 p.m. and you can get happy early birthday.
Thank you.
And you can get tickets at unionhallny.com.
Great.
I'm also getting my blinds installed on March 1st.
Okay.
So
that is
Quick plug.
Thank you, Home Depot. That's very exciting.
As long as they show up on time, though, because sometimes they be like,
I know they might. And I think that's it. I am in the middle of revisions on my first book, it's an essay collection called "You Can't Touch My Hair," and that's going to be published tentatively. I think. I'm afraid to say the date.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say the fall because I'm not.
But
it's not super locked in yet, but it'll be in the fall. Plume is going to publish it.
You know, people go listen to this months from now. That's the one weird thing about podcasts.
Yeah, people listen to it. Yeah,
they will, and they'll be like, "Oh, wait, that's now."
Let me go get that book.
Yeah, that's great.
In the fall. Be on the lookout for it.
And just Google Phoebe Robinson. Watch her clips on like.
Yeah.
You've been on a couple of like Conan, right?
Yeah, and I did Seth Meyers and At Midnight, I'm on Twitter.
At Midnight episodes.
Twitter at P Robinson Comedy, and friend me on Facebook. But if you're a crazy white dude, please, I don't have the time. So just don't friend me because I talk a lot about race and gender stuff.
Or just, you know what, just follow her on Facebook because there are so many great posts that you make.
Great.
Yeah,
they're really
honestly.
great.
Yeah.
And like you're not confined to the 140 characters of Twitter.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need the rants and they're great.
I'm all about ranting.
Awesome. Cool. Well, we will do some plugs out of this, but thank you guys for listening.
Hey man,
thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for
coming.
You guys are
being
delightful as always.
Yeah,
I love it.
We love having you here.
Thank you.
You're our first repeat guest.
And you are our first repeat.
Can I come back
guest.
when my book comes out?
Of course,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Listen, we want more women of color on this show. Like, tell your friends. We keep trying.
Honestly,
we're trying.
You should get Michelle Buteau. She's so funny.
Trying.
She travels a lot. She travels a lot.
I know.
And she just got that.
And she just got the thing, and I was like, oh man, it's gonna be so hard to get her now.
Yeah.
Because Francesca, we've been trying to get on the show, but she just got the writing job.
Ray Sani is great. I love
Sani,
her.
okay.
She's so smart and funny. She's very woke. She does a lot of ranting on Facebook too, which is why we're friends.
Naomi is going to do it, but she's in LA right now. So.
Right.
We're trying to get females of color. We want to hear y'all perspective.
Hey, out.
Amber Ruffin. writer for Seth Meyers, first African American woman to be hired to write for Late Night when she got hired in 2014.
That was the first time.
It was the first.
My mind just melted in my head and then drizzled out of my ears.
Wasn't Viola Davis the
Is that
first
because
woman
they
of
don't
color to be
consider?
nominated?
Wait,
Yeah, she was the first African American on Late Night.
In 2014?
Yep.
I just have a real quick question that
I did not
that
know
relates
that.
directly
That's
to
crazy.
white women, black women writing for Late Night is After Earth. What do we? Just
We're not doing
real
bits
quick.
in
What do
the
we
show.
think about?
We're not
No,
doing
I just
bits
wanted to
in the
ask. I
show.
just want to ask. Like, have you seen After Earth, and how do you feel about that?
Yo, we're not.
What's After Earth?
it's a
Will Smith
Will
movie
Smith
with like
and Jaden.
Jaden and
Oh, I didn't want to see that trash.
why'd you bring up a bit? We did not do bits. This is an important show, man.
I mean, we could do the cause for the Oscars 2016, but I'm
Nope.
guessing
It just came
They'll all
up in
get
my mind. It just
nothing.
came up in my mind.
Yeah, clearly everyone knows the Oscars did not help the cause.
Didn't
it
help the
gets
cause at all.
nothing. We're not even going to do it. It got nothing.
it got nothing.
You know what they're going to do?
They like Chris Rock hosts.
Yo, I bet you're going to have Chris Rock and a bunch of other people of color presenting awards. Like, hey,
Oh yeah, they did that. They started reaching
did
out to
they?
have people of color be presenters.
Yeah, well, because they didn't invite the cast of Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, they,
Are they
they
gonna
only
be-
Seen
invited the writers.
commercial? There's the commercial for the Oscars where they just show all the black people.
all the black people.
Yeah, it's like Jamie Foxx holding his Oscar. Halle
Like,
Berry.
why
It's
did
like
they
you
do
guys
that?
are so fucking corny.
Yo,
It's like a
no, they
bad
didn't.
boyfriend who like got caught cheating. Like, oh, let me buy
No, but
roses,
remember-
girl. Yeah, it's like shut
Don't you
up.
remember all the good times back in 2004?
No, man. Man, this is some bull. Oh, matter of fact, no, I don't even want to
end
do
the
quotes
episode,
no
let's
more,
end the
man.
episode.
Man.
All right.
Be better.
Are you
about-
okay,
better?
Nick? It was just too much.
No, Nick was great. We'll see you
Okay,
guys. Tweet at us. All right, peace. Bye.
Bye.
All right, it's time for some plugs. We got a lot of plugs.
We plugging
we
some
got a
stuff
lot.
going
Let's get right to it. First of all, at Black Men Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. Follow us, tweet at us. If you live in some crazy place, be like, yo, I live in this crazy place.
Yeah, and just let us know that it's crazy.
Let us know what movies you want us to review, how you feeling about some of the films and whatnot, how you feel about these Oscars, just
Everything.
Talk to us. We're also on Facebook, Black Men Podcast, and blackmenpodcast.squarespace.com for events, for our Instagram link, for some photos. So yeah, go there. Speaking of events, South by Southwest.
Yes, we're heading to South by Southwest on March 11th, Friday, March 11th.
3 p.m. at the North Door Theater. Tickets are on sale now.
Get them tickets,
All
yo.
right, it's like a headgum extravaganza. You got
gonna be so
us,
dope.
John Gabris is going to be
John
there.
Gabris' podcast, which I've been listening to. It's really funny. And she didn't text me back. Also very funny.
That happens to me all the time. I be texting.
Yeah, no,
and
she
never
didn't
texts
text me back.
yeah, so you had 3 for the price of 1. I think it's
Yes.
like $20. Not that bad at
and,
all.
like, me and John have never been to Texas, so we're going to be, we're tourists. We
Yeah.
want to see, like, take us out. Let us know what's
yeah.
happening.
I've been to Texas, so,
Yeah, that's why I said me and John.
We haven't.
know, but I
wait,
was just
wait. Are
telling
we doing that film that we said that we were going to do? Can we talk about it?
Yeah, let's tell people the film.
Have we decided?
Let's
have
do
we
it.
decided what
Are we
film
going to
did it.
concrete?
No, let's do it. Let's do it right now.
Okay.
Let's do it in the moment.
Guys, we're doing a Will Smith movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
because we got to.
But we're not doing After Earth.
What?
Nope.
No.
We're doing Here
No.
Comes the Man in Black.
Man in Black.
Galaxy Defenders.
Nah.
Oh.
Here comes the Man in Black.
The good guys dressed in black.
Remember
Remember
that.
that. Just
Face
get
to
them face to face and make contact. The title won by me.
MIB. Means what you think you saw, you did not see.
All right, we gotta go back to the plugs.
Okay.
y'all. But that was
So-
you can get more of that live.
So yeah, watch it, love it. We're gonna talk about it, and
oh, we got some
got some
shows.
show
here.
We got a
plugs.
couple
Wanna
shows with Astronomy Club.
Astronomy Club. Journey
Yeah.
Through Black History.
Yeah,
Or
what
a
dates
sketch
are those?
show.
They're in March. We have 2 in March.
2 in March. Go on
2 in
UCB
March.
website. UCB Chelsea.
March 14th, which is a Monday at 8 p.m. Tickets $5. We also are going to be there Wednesday, March 30th at 9:30 p.m. Also $5.
Dope.
And, this show is sold out, but March 7th, we're doing like a I'm Too Cool showcase. It'll just be one sketch, but that's also at UCB Chelsea. So if you're in New York area, March 7th, March 14th, or March 30th, check us out. Astronomy Club.
Yeah, and if it's sold out or something, just sneak in. And I'm like, who told you to sneak in? Say, Jonathan Braylock said it's okay to sneak in.
Nah. Do standby line there.
Do the standby line. You can do that.
You'll get in.
Yes.
Oh, and also, hopefully this last plug we're super proud of. Hopefully this pans out to be perfect timing.
It should, yeah.
We have a Comedy Central Snapchat series coming out called Thank You Black People.
Thank you, black people.
Just so you know, Snapchat is only going to be in there for 24 hours, so you
Yes.
got to catch it.
You
It
gotta
should
catch
start
it. 3
today.
videos.
3 videos each day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Comedy Central. If you download the Snapchat app, just swipe to the right, and then there's this thing called Discover, and you'll see a little circle. It's Comedy Central. You click on that, and that's their channel. You probably
Yes.
have to click through some videos to see ours. You'll see us there.
Yeah, and then when you watch it and then you love it, just start tweeting at Comedy Central like, man, you know what, they need
More
a
of this,
show.
more
Get
of
more
this.
Snapchats.
Tweet,
Get them everyone.
send emails.
You know what I'm saying?
Send carrier pigeons.
Yeah.
Just let Comedy Central know
that y'all
you
like
liked
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's it for plugs.
That's
Anything else that we want to plug?
No.
Yeah,
just wanna
at
say-
James Third Comedy and jamesthirdcomedy.com.
All right, at John Braylock on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, man, I ain't doing all that, but I just want to say thank y'all, man. Because because the listeners got us everything right now,
Yeah,
man. Like,
thank you,
thank y'all.
guys.
Seriously, y'all.
Thank y'all.
Cool. And next week we're reviewing Ride Along.
Ride along.
That's correct.
Ride
Kevin
along.
Hart.
Kevin Hart. Tim Story
And
directed.
Ice Cube. Tim Story directing.
Yeah. That's going to be entertaining, y'all. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to be entertaining.
It's a really good episode.
Watch it.
Take a listen.
So Ride Along. The first one, not the sequel that just came out. The first one.
No, we like to go with the original.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Boop, 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 boop.
That was a HeadGum podcast.